Alrighty. I think you can all hear me. Voice mod is on. Let's see. If I click on a thing, how does it open? It opens like this. Okay. That should be good. Let me just close that. And let me just open up. Hey, Matt. How you doing? Hello, KKFG. Hello, Aiden. Hello, Roar. How you guys all doing? That was Lash. Oh, no, wait. Yep. Let me open this, because I think that's a better way to see what's going on. Hello, Zephyr. How you doing? Okay, let's look at that regen team while we're at it. There is Khan. Let me just open up Khan's Rate My Team. Joy. There we go. Let's open that. Start a veggie fam. Hello. Hello. Is it Sandra or Kandra? I just want to double check with how the pronunciation of the name. Is it with a K or a S? Like when I do the pronunciation. I know it's a C in the front because I can physically see a C. But is it Kandra as in K or Sandra as in C? I mean S for the pronunciation. So yeah. Would just like a double checking so I don't have to like mispronounce that name anymore. Zephyr's like, I'm doing great. How about you? I'm pretty good. Can't complain. I have a little bit of a headache, so I'm just drinking some coffee. And I had some drugs. I had an ibuprofen. Okay. Those are for fun. There we go. Let me open that up. Borley. Feel like this is something else, so we're gonna click on things. Feel like I'm clicking on the same things. Does it ever end? Wait. Oh my god. I think it just rotated me back. What? I feel like I'm going in circles. What the frig is going on? You know what? Zoom. I'm going down here. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I'm just gonna... I felt like I was going in circles. I'm not even like kidding you guys. Alright, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna look through some of these, and if I feel like there's discrepancies, I'm gonna delete them. Cause frig. Cryptic, hello, how you doing? Yo, Mega X, how you doing? Hello, the Wolf. I hope you're doing well. Suggest a warm bath to get rid of a headache. Yeah, I suggest that to me too. That sounds great. I love that, but not right now. I'm not taking a bath while I rate my team. Imagine that. Imagine that I can put a bathtub right behind me and I'm rating your teams while in a bathtub. I think that would be so extra, and I'm actually down for that. So I'm actually thinking that, you know, when I can, I will do a setup in my washroom, and for one of my rate my teams, obviously in a bathing suit and, you know, fully clothed. But in the tub, I will rate people's teams and relax in the water, because I don't think YouTube really likes nips too much. Unless it's on big, muscly dudes, which I understand because they have beautiful pecs and stuff like that, so I get it. You're doing all right, Wolf? That's awesome. I would watch. I mean, I would watch too, I would watch too, Cryptic. I really would. I want to watch the whole stream, but I don't think my battery likes that. I mean, you could always plug it in with the charger, unless you're in school, which in that case, fair enough. Let me just make sure that... Is there a change here? Yes, it's not the same person. That's the difference. Got it. Excuse me, I did a thing called a burp. This says jokes. Well, yikes. Ah, the cough. The cough of doom. Sagas. Alright, OG Sun, Sorry Yosha, and Fugen. Alright, let's start. Let's just begin. Maybe with an S is better, but I'm also not sure. Thanks for asking, by the way. Alright, so Sandra is what I will say for now, okay? If you think it's Kandra, let me know, but for now, I'll say Sandra, okay? Alright, sounds good. And no problem. I like asking. I don't like to just say people's names without actually knowing how to pronounce it. So if I've been actually messing your names up at any point in time, just let me know so I can fix that. It's not because I'm worried that people are gonna throw a Hail Mary if I pronounce their name wrong, but I've actually had my names mispronounced many times. So I know after a while it can get kind of irksome. So I just I like to know. There go my OnlyFans dreams. Listen, Roar, I will make an OnlyFans, okay? Will that make you happy? I'll just make an OnlyFans. And yes, I will bring back the dumbbell someday. That's like that's almost like a week of Lash. 7 days Lash has waited for me to roast his team. Do you have a guild on DBZ? Do I have a guild on DB Legends? Yes, but we do have a guild minimum. So you would want to talk to Emily about that. Either Zephyr, Roar, or Emily. Specifically, Emily, I think would be a good idea to talk to. All right. Anyways, let's begin. So, I think most of you know how I rate these, but for those of you that don't, we have 3 criterias. We have team synergy, we have team composition, and we have team power. Team synergy really just looks at ability bonus and equips. Team comp looks more so at the units that are chosen on your team. And then team power kind of takes an overall glance at a general idea of how well could a specific unit do in battle. Okay? Like, or when you mix them together, how well they do in battle. Free OnlyFans. Well, no, because if I post a picture of my elbow, that'll be hidden under a Patreon exclusive, or like a OnlyFans exclusive where you have to pay me for that. I think my name is weird, but maybe I'll change it later. I mean, listen, guys, your name I don't think is really weird. I think just names in general are, they're sometimes like they are. You should never be ashamed of your name. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to that, honestly. And that's about it. When is Battle Gauntlet full guide coming? I mean, I can make a battle guide full guide, but I mean, realistically, it's like any other event. But yeah, I can bring that out. Yo, David. Are there going to be bit dances on the OnlyFans? I think I'm going to have to release a public sexy dance for UV on my YouTube platform. And then we can all link UV to it. Because I still owe him that. All right, so anyways, let's take a look at this. So we have, all right. Okay, for extra healing, got it. Okay. 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 So, when it comes to ability bonus, for the most part, I'm okay with this. The only thing that I find that this could be done better is if we gave Vados a little bit of higher health boost. Because one thing I've noticed is that there's a very high focus on defense, which is fine. But the problem is, any added on defense without a health boost is negligible. You really want to expand your overall health total while expanding your defense total in order to actually maximize how much that defense total takes into account. Because you're thinking of it this way. If you have, let's say, 2 million health, and you have a defensive buff of, let's say, 35%, okay? And let's say all of a sudden now you put a health buff, and now you're at 2.5 million, but you still have that 35% defense buff. Now you have an extra 500k where that is applied. And that changes the scope of how much damage you can take, or damage. I keep on going between the two. you can take with Vados, and that applies to every single unit. So, one thing I definitely would say is that if there is going to be 0 health buffer units on the team, then maybe one of the equips should also reflect that on Vados. It might be less than, obviously, 500k extra health. I'm not here to say that, you'll get 500k extra health, but the same thing applies even if you get only like 8% extra health. It will still be something. So just something to keep note. A lot of defense is fine, but with no added buffs on how much health can be taken away, Vados is, she should just never get really hit, to be fair. So, anyways, let's keep going. Okay. So from what I'm seeing here, I would honestly replace the equips. If your plan is to run Clapku over this Godku, I would actually just replace the switch the equips, realistically. Because I would want to have the better equips on the unit I use. Now, if this unit is being used and Clapku is just there, then all right. Either way, in terms of like overall synergy, I would say this. I would probably give it like 8.5. It's got solid equips. Things that I would improve is maybe having an actual legitimate health buffer here as an equip, or alternatively unit. Definitely getting everything to S, except for the Awaken. The Awaken I'm fine, but I mean, you can still get them to S. I mean, you can. Even if you can't fix the first slot, you can always fix slots 2 and 3, or alternatively re-roll. I know Awakens are a pain in the butt, so obviously. And then obviously with this one, since there is the event out currently, you have no reason why you cannot re-roll and get a better version of this equip. So this one right here, get like a gold slot or a red slot in the front. And then even if it's still A, that's still way better than this. This has a ceiling. Its potential to go to Z+ is not possible. The closest you're getting with this equip as it is Z. Closest. And that's assuming that the green slot is close to gold. V-Sushi, I'm trying to send you my team in DMs, but it won't send. It says that we're not on the same server, but I'm in your server. Try to just send it and rate my team. Like the section of rate my team V-Sushi. Alrighty. So, yeah. So, overall, 8.5. Ability bonus is solid. But that's to be expected considering we have double Zenkai buffers. We have 3 Zenkais on the team. UI Goku 6 stars. Most people are at 6 stars except for this Clapku, but I'm sure he will be updated to 6 stars eventually, so I guess it doesn't matter. So, yeah. Overall, that's fine. In terms of team comp, when I'm looking at this team particularly, the one unit that honestly feels out of place to me is actually Beerus. And the reason for it is because you don't really need to Zenkai boost Vados at all. In fact, I would just argue that you just need a health buffer. Now, of course, that's going to obviously drop your ability bonus, but I would rather drop my ability bonus if it promotes better structure for my team. So, if you drop your ability bonus, it would probably drop to like 2,800. And then you put in the Godku. And then you put in the equips. And you're looking at a tankier Vados. You're looking at a tankier Vegeta. So if you are running Vegeta, which I can see that this team is, if you're reliant on Vegeta in some matchups, you want Vados and Vegeta to have high base health. So Vegeta can actually fully, thank you, Emily, can fully promote his full passives. Because whatever you have as your base opening, Vegeta should be the higher one with health than your opponent. If it's the opposite, you're going to have to put some dents into your opponent, and that's assuming they haven't already put some dents into your Vegeta. It's really important that Vegeta has higher base health in order to fully utilize his kit. So Vegeta is one of those characters that it's interesting because if you can exploit him well, he's a solid unit. But if you're in a losing position, he's very vanilla outside of his cover change that ignores Gogeta, ignores a whole bunch of people that ignore cover changes, because his is a little bit different from everyone else's. So, yeah, I would definitely say that the one thing I would change is Beerus. You don't need Beerus at all. Realistically, Beerus is fundamentally not needed. Now, if you really, really, really want to keep Beerus, for God knows what reason, because it looks very strike-focused. I'm going to be real, this team. I mean, you could drop UI, but I like having more than just 3 colors. So, on God Key specifically, Beerus just seems like the realistic person to go. You could also drop this one, but I don't like that idea either. Sometimes he's a good double blue matchup, so Beerus out. Wheezy F Broly? Alright, bet. Anyways, so yeah, in terms of like team comp, I think I would give this probably like a 7.5. I just find that this team will take, and it will be easier to take this team down without a higher base health total. Defense is fantastic, but having some health really expands on how well defense carries over. And then finally, let's talk about team power. In terms of team power, this team's got it all. It's very powerful. If it's hitting you, it's gonna hurt. So that's a good thing. I could easily give it like a 9 in terms of power. It is solid. It is good. So overall, good job. Toxic Monkey. Let's go. All right, so we got the Awaken equip, 9-star Nameku. All right. Okay. Okay. Ay. Are we what? No. What is this? No. What is this? Get this shit out of here. Awaken this, please. You can get an Awakened A that is so much better than a base A, so you might as well just awaken it. This can also be awakened. I don't know if it can apply to him, though, after that. I have to double check that, because I don't really run, like, any sort of Frieza Force, or even Lineage of Evil, to be fair. So as a result, I'm not actually sure. But you can I know that this person is clearly only running these 3, and then these are health buffers. I get that. I 100% get it. However, it doesn't change the fact that you should still properly buff these characters. Your ability bonus still plays a factor in the damage calc when you are playing. So, neglecting your ability bonus just because you feel like it is a bad idea. But I would definitely say with this Angel Vegeta, if you're not running an EX Saiyan unit on your team, so not bench, on your team, you are killing your Vegeets. Don't kill your Vegeets. Get rid of this equip. Get rid of the equip. Like, this equip sucks monkey butt. This is not Toxic Monkey, this is Butt Monkey. Because you're killing your Vegeets. You're killing him. Get rid of this. Get rid of this shit. Just get rid of it. Please. Do me that favor. Also, if you can re-roll things like this, that's fine. If you cannot, then that's fine too. This is fine. You could probably work on the 2nd slot if you want to get it to S. And you can also work it on 3rd slot, although the 3rd slot's not very relevant, but it doesn't matter. It is when you do match up against one. And then, yeah, awaken this. Even awaken A is good. Replace this with some sort of defensive or health buff. Like, just give them more health. That's the greatest thing about this team. If you give them more health, they already have a lot of defense. You can just add more health to their defense, and then they just go ka-chow. It's hilarious. Because you already have defense right here, and maybe some offense. I don't know how you set this, so I don't know the full stats here because I can never see that. But yeah, get rid of this. Add either health or more defense, and just ka-chow. It's gonna be great. Overall, in terms of synergy-wise, synergy is there, but I'm gonna have to rate it a little bit lower. So I'm definitely gonna only give it like a 7. And the reason for the 7 is really because there's so many equips you could rework, like replacing this equip, awakening this equip, either awakening or working on this equip. This one easily could have been an S tier equip. There was no need for this to be base A all the way. I get that you don't seem to care, but you should. And then, yeah, that's about it, honestly, in terms of, like, the equips. You could work on this, too, and then if you want, you could either work on this or re-roll for this. That's fine, too. So there's a lot of things you could have done, so I'm going to give it a 7, because there's definitely some mistakes, like this. That's a big mistake. Don't do that to yourself. Don't hate yourself so much. So, yeah, in terms of team comp, this is standard in terms of those that want to play with high base health, Toxic Monkey teams. And you can easily get away with it because this is a great trio. So yeah, you just, you just do your thing. So this is fine. In terms of team comp, I can easily give that 8.5. Because even though it's very linear and there's obvious flaws to the team, Green, Goku, and Nameku kind of ignore that, and Vegeta puts them over the top. So realistically, that is your trio anyways. And when it's not, it's usually just Super Saiyan 3, Angel, and then someone else. So you're not losing out on much. So there's not really much to say. I'm only dropping some points due to lack of versatility. Because realistically, you could easily just do 2 health buffs, drop the Goku, and add an actual unit. But I mean, if you want to go this route, then these 2 Gokus are maxed out in health-wise a lot, and then Angel Vegeta at least takes 2 of them. So that's fine too. I just personally like the concept of having an extra unit, but that's just me. And then finally, in terms of team power, yeah, I can easily give this a 10. It's got the defensive mechanic, it's got an offensive mechanic. There's nothing actually wrong with it inherently, and I'm going to ignore equips for this because I think that just goes to show how powerful Saiyans can be, even in this particular setup. So, yeah, Saiyans are dumb, but hybrids are more dumb. All right, let's take a look. We have a a Universal Survival Saga team, and it looks dope. All right, let's take a look. So I can see we don't want Topo or Basil. We want Android 18. That's okay. That just means we have an endurance nullifier. That's good. Bergamo is the tank of the team plus a health buffer, so that's awesome. Android 17 shouldn't be underestimated. He's solid as a yellow unit, and he's strike-based, which is awesome. My only question is, I'm trying to figure out, because there's Champa and Android 17, I'm just trying to figure out, is this strike-focused or blast-focused? And I think it's strike-focused, actually, no, it's strike-focused. It just makes me wonder, is Champa there really just for buffs? Because it looks like it. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out. But it looks like it's strike-focused, especially since this equip is just everywhere. Which makes sense. So, but... Okay. So one thing I would definitely say is that if this is a strike-focused team, reflect that in equips like this. Because I believe this is only blast-based. This isn't strike-based as well. Whereas this is both strike and blast, so I understand this. And then this is more of a helper, like a support equip, plus has some damage input, which is awesome. So, and this is like multi-purpose as well. So what I would definitely say is if you're running equips, reflect it. I get that you kind of want to buff other places, but like things like this or this confuse me a bit only because they are blast focused when you're clearly trying to do a strike focused team. Now, in the situation where you're trying to do a mix, let me know. But it does confuse me because the only person that I can see as being forced to be blast focused, regardless of having strike oriented equips, is Vados. And that's mainly because she's just such a heavy, strong supporter. So yeah, that's why. Okay. Anyways. So there you go. Either way. In terms of synergy, I would definitely give this a 9. It has a focus. It just has some kind of, I would say, misguided equips. But otherwise, it's a solid synergetic team. It's a awesome universal survival team. And it's got the stars to back it up. Solid. In terms of team composition, I could probably give this, I would say, it's hard to say because I would have to take a closer look as to what would be the best options. I personally like Basil, but Android 18 is still not a bad pick, and on top of that, I would argue is on par, if not maybe even better. I just like to abuse Vanish, whereas 18 is more of a combo extender, combo finisher, endurance nullifier. So I understand that. I do like playing the long game a little bit, so Basil with his green cards and abusing of the green cards is very, very powerful. But at the same time, you've got Bergamo, you've got 17, you've got UI, you've got Vados, so definitely can be supported. Anyways, for team comp, I think I will give this, for what it is, because of what it can be, probably a 9. I don't think I could rate any Universal Survival team at 10 yet, and that's only because they need more things still. But overall, they're solid. And then finally, in terms of team power, I can easily give this a 10. It's got everything. It's got stars. It's got power. It's got everything backing it. I think it's fine. All right, so now we got regen. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. I would like to know if this is strike focused or blast focused. I know it's health based in some aspect, but I need to know if that last slot is strike or blast, but I'll never know, I guess. We have this, okay. This, okay. And then this, okay. So I see it's very blast focused. So one thing I would definitely note in that case is if it's going to be blast focused, Android 21 is good. You can definitely put her in. This is fine. Definitely can put him in. I just wonder if you really need him since you have this one, or maybe you like this guy better than him because he does more base damage. But at the same time, this guy can dodge like crazy. And that alone gives him so much standing possibility. So, you know, I just wonder. All right, but either way, in terms of equips, I wonder how effective this equip is because it is a strike-focused equip. Kid Buu, I'm less bothered by considering he's just being Zenkai boosted, so I guess it's fine. This equip means that there is a defense total. It just means that he has to always be paired with him. Otherwise, you are kind of linking away. Unless the point is to never bring him in, only bring her in, which in that case, fair. But I still prefer him over her in terms of a regen team, even if it's blast focused. Her equips are fine. One thing I would definitely say is that maybe you should run one of the awakened equips instead of this one. Like, a lovely romantic drive or whatever it's called. Just because it has overall base, overall stats, helps her just in terms of full defensive buffs, and gives her a little bit more tankability. But, you know, teach their own. This equip, this is fine except for this one. This one confuses me a bit, only because he's not going to really struggle against greens. So, I feel like this could be better placed as another blast-focused equip. Or maybe even a defensive equip, just generally. And then finally, Cell. Yeah, I have nothing really to say about Cell. Some of the stats are lost on him, but that's only because he doesn't have an ult card, so that's fine. Sounds good, Shu. Take care, okay? Yo, Michael, how you doing? I see you there, Mike. Yeah. So overall, in terms of like ability bonus, I think I'll give, like, in terms of synergy, I'll give this like a 9.5. There's a couple of things that I'm confused about, but overall, it's a solid build here. Is just there's a couple of things that I would probably switch just to maximize potential. In terms of team comp, overall, I have nothing really bad to say. One thing I would definitely say, though, is that I would either drop Android 21 or this Piccolo, assuming that you're running Kid Buu. Or you could drop Kid Buu. I mean, to each their own. And I would put in Purple DKP. Purple DKP is such a solid and powerhouse of a unit, and he just synergizes super, super well with this this Piccolo right here, that even at 2 stars, he is a monster. So I just don't see a reason not to run Purple DKP in this team. Yeah, send it to Rate My Team, Dax. Yeah, you got it. So anyways, with that being said, I would definitely say that that's one of the bigger things that I would say in terms of team comp. Just having purple DKP on it. Because not having a purple unit that is, well, needless to say, a monster, would be unfortunate for your team, especially when you're dealing with green units that are tanky, and there's a ton of green units. Especially when I consider GT, or if I consider androids, or even if I consider Saiyans. In fact, the only situation where probably you won't need a purple is hybrids. Unless you're playing against a big brain hybrid player, which in that case, you're most likely going to fight against like a green unit. So having a purple is very, very nice. Anyways, so overall, in terms of team comp, I'll give it a 9. It can definitely hold its own, but I do feel like this is a solid base. I just feel like Purple DKP could add so much to it. So, and then finally, in terms of team power, I can give it a 10. It has power. There's nothing wrong with the power. Power wise, it's good. All right, here you go. We got Sun Fam. All right, let me just grab this real quick. Okay, so in terms of Sun Fam, let's discuss this. So that way we can just, do the next one that we have. In terms of this, let me just undo that. So I see we're working on specific equips. That's okay. So Sun Fam wise, 6 stars, 9 stars, 7 stars, 8 stars, 7 stars, 3 stars. All right. So I can see the equips are being worked on. So I'm just going to do that. I was just curious how much watch time we need to get monetized in YT. 4,000. 4,000, but you know I hate equipments, Phil. I know, Mike. I know. I know you hate equips with a passion, dude. So do I. 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subs in 12 months. That's what you need. That's how you can get monetized, Justin Otaku. All right. Okay, so I can see that there's work to be done here and here. And I know that's because they're not done working on it, so I won't assess it that way. Let me just look at the equips itself. Solid equip. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. So yeah, equipment-wise, I have nothing really bad to say about it. One thing this team really lacks is just a health buffer of any sort. But at the same time, I do wonder if you can even really put a health buffer on Sunfam. So as a result, I really have nothing to say about this in terms of synergy. I think the only thing holding Sunfam back right now is a lack of synergy in some components because of how oppressive the meta has been with hybrids being part of the overall scale. So Sunfam is in an awkward situation where they're solid, but they definitely feel like they're two different teams altogether. So I would definitely give this, in terms of synergy, a 9 or 9.5. It's solid. In terms of team comp, I can easily give this, what? The only thing you're missing is a purple. No, you're not missing a purple. You've got red, purple, green, blue, and yellow. I can give it a 10. I mean, it's there. Everything is there. I don't know who you run between the two of these. I guess it depends. Sounds good, Zephyr. And no problem, Justin Otaku. Yeah, overall, I can give this a 10 in terms of team comp. It's solid. I mean, there's not much to say about Sunfam. They're limited to what they have and what they can do. So, yeah, no, this is fair. And then in terms of team power, yeah, it's a 10. I have nothing else to say about it. It's a solid team. It's just a matter of, do you play well or not? All right, let's take a look at Saiyans real quick. All right, health buffer, blue, yellow, green, red, and then purple. Cool. All right, let's take a look at Saiyan, see what we got here. What can we do here? All right, equips, interesting. Fine, yep. Yep, fine. Base, yep, okay. Okay, interesting. All right, so as long as there's a strike in the last area, that's perfectly acceptable. Yeah, not much to say here other than this looks solid to me. In terms of equips, I have nothing really bad to say. You could always improve these equips, make them better, but overall, I'll still give it a 10. Everything is solid. Everything is there what it needs to be. These are fine selection of equips. It just depends on what are the last slots for these Boo equips, but otherwise, it's solid. Yeah. 10. Team comp. 10. It's your standard Saiyan team. You can easily go with this Zenkai route, or you can go with UI. You can go with like the Ultra Goku. Like there are options, but these are just as fine, if not better. So can't really say anything bad about this. And then in terms of power, 10. I have nothing to say about this. It's good. Okay. A quick question: how much time did it take you to get the equipment you have? Me specifically, it took me many months. Many months. It is it's a process. I'm not even done with my equips. Strange Direct, 100% a curse right there. Indeed, 100%. I mean, if you get triple green Z or triple green S, it's definitely cursed. 100% cursed. But it's a curse that you don't question. You definitely can. For the Awakened equip, Justin Otaku is just extremely hard and painful. Alright, so let's take a look at Sun Fam, because I can definitely see this as a Sun Family team. Let's see. No red. Interesting. Why is there no Gohan? What's going on here? I don't understand. Alright, let's look at the equips first. Okay. 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 Why though? Why? Okay. Okay, interesting. Huh. Why is he here? I guess for, like, Zenkai, I mean, for, like, Z ability bonus, but, I mean, like, you could just replace him with, like, Gohan. You know? You know? He's a Sun Fam unit. He's a Sun Fam. Hoping they'd update equipment update to be better for rates after a certain amount of rolls, but it's just a re-upgrade feature. Yup, Rez, I know. Yeah, I know, Justin Otaku. You should meet some of the people that wasted over 3,000. 3,000 slot removers, okay? So 350, you're only a tenth of the way there. A little bit over the 10th of the way there. So I get hybrid Saiyans because all my equips are for Saiyans. That's fair. That means you got to start working on hybrids. Only thing I really have to question is the placement of him, but we'll get to that. And then these two equips, only because you could better suit these for, I don't know, base defense or alternatively health buffs. So there are other options. This ain't it, Chief. Also, that's cursed. So I would definitely only give this like an 8. The equips are solid for the most part. I just don't like these equips because you can't actually abuse crits. Anything that you get from them doing crits is just random. And I don't like when it's randomized. Because it's so, well, random. And when you hear the word, that's so random, that's never a compliment. So, yeah. In terms of team comp, I'm okay with the team comp. I just don't understand the placement of this unit. Having a solid red unit in this meta is, well, solid. Having a solid purple unit in this meta is solid because it counters greens. I mean, having a color wheel is important. And for Sun Family, it's especially important. For other teams, it's not as important. Like, here's the thing. Sun Family is one of those teams where they rely on a color wheel or almost a full color wheel because they're in that odd spot. Androids is one that I could say is in an odd spot, but still a solid team, so they don't really have to rely on that, and plus they're kind of limited in terms of options right now, whereas hybrids and Saiyans can just kind of do whatever. Regen can kind of do whatever, because they're in that top tier spot where they have such great selections at the current moment in the meta that they can just do whatever they want, and that's why. God Key's another good example of a team that can do whatever they want, just due to the sheer fact that you realistically only need Vados plus 2 very solid DPS / LMS units, and then just health buffers, or Zenkai buffers, and you're good. You're solid. So, not every team has a Vados. Sun Fam is one of them, and as a result, full color wheel does help them a lot more. So for this, I think I can only give it a 7. There's a lot of missed synergy, and it shows. I mean, this guy doesn't buff any Sun Fam unit. I don't think he buffs Sun Fam. I believe he buffs God Key and Saiyans. I have him at 13 stars, so I should know that, but here we are. This guy looks like a Zenkai buffer for him, but in that case, I still question the use of this unit. I don't have red Gohan, sir. What red units do you have? Joy, what red units do you have? And then finally for Team Power. I can give it an 8. This guy will ramp up. He doesn't do a lot of damage without any sort of like helping buffers. So he's more of a tank. This guy's actually quite solid. And he's solid too. Yeah. Ultra Goku only. Okay. What's the star on your Ultra Goku, Joy? Because I would definitely say that maybe having Ultra Goku over this guy could be helpful. Especially since you already have a tank as it is. Anyways, overall not bad. Alright, sagas from the movies, let's go. Alright, so we have... Okay. 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 I can see we're running this equip literally to abuse healing, which is awesome. Yeah. 12 stars. Alright, so then in that case, Joy, it sounds like... Alright, see you later, Nikiru. Peace out, okay? Joy, I would probably put Ultra Goku on there. Overall, equip-wise, it's fine. On him, yeah, that's fine, actually. You anyways want to boost his blue card damage the most, so, and defenses. And having a little bit of extra crit potential is fine in terms of damage, or in terms of like how often he can crit. Overall, equips synergy wise, I don't hate it. It's actually solid. I think you can awaken this, but I'll have to double check. Like in terms of like equipping it onto him, because I don't remember. Yo, thank you, Rez. I appreciate that. I hope it's helpful. I hope that this series is actually helpful for you guys when it comes to fixing up equips or seeing what you can do with it. And as I keep on doing this, I'm going to get better at this. And as I get better at this, I am going to start getting more nitpicky as I see your teams and as I see what we can do with them. Okay? So just bear with me on that. All right. Overall, I think that for ability bonus in terms of synergy-wise, when I'm looking at just base equips and I'm looking at what it's fundamentally trying to do, I can easily give this a 9. I get there's a theme. It's abuse healing. I love it. With the this Vegeta equip, I can definitely see a base abuse and healing. Now, my only question is this. If you are running this Borley, is the Borley being ran, or is the Trunks being used most of the time? If it is the Trunks, then I 100% agree with the equipment choice of Vegeta being S on him. Whereas if Borley's being used more, I would flip the equips. All right, so that's the one thing I would definitely say in terms of synergy-wise. If the Trunks is being used, okay, then that's fine, because I know that Trunks gets a one-time heal on top of, like, having this Gohan helping him out with extra healing, so that's cool. I just need to know, because it really helps out. No problem, Joy. Got you. Yeah, but otherwise, the synergy is solid. In terms of team comp, I have nothing bad to say about it. Like, legitimately nothing bad to say. Best purple on the team. Choice of 2 different greens. Red-wise, you could run Bojack instead. Like, if your red Bojack is 6 stars at this point, I would actually say that red Bojack makes more sense on movies than Gogeta at this point. And that's only because Gogeta really only sees any form of play on either fusions at this point or, why can't I say it? Super Saiyans. Or Saiyans. Those are, like, his only teams. Movies kind of has let go of Gogeta in favor of a really, really annoying Bojack that has fantastic, obnoxious passives that can really annoy the opponent. Has the ability to remove their Vanish Gauge, so his Awakened Arts card can just slam him for lots of damage. He's got just too much. That red Bojack is a solid unit, and it makes him a way better movies unit than Gogeta. So if you have him at 6 stars or you have him at all, work on him. You can then replace and then reap the benefits. When you get to mine, can you help me out with that? What equips I should use? Because it's basically all over shop. Got it. Just let me know when we get to yours. Rez says he probably doesn't have him. Well, in case that they do, I'm pointing that out right now. If they don't, that's fine. Keep Gogeta. Gogeta's totally fine. But if they do, switch it. Just switch it. This blue Gogeta's fine. Totally fine, actually. And then this Gogeta, solid. All right, so in terms of team comp, I'm going to give it a 9. It's solid. There's nothing wrong with it. Sagas from the movies is a really solid team in today's meta and can really steal games if you play well. Just can steal it very easily. And then in terms of power, I can give it a 10. Like, power-wise, it's got it. You catch them with a green, that's a dead unit. You have you catch them with the green here, not necessarily dead, but you can definitely either click that golden shiny button, or if they have no cover change or you know they can't cover change, just go straight into them. That you're gonna do a lot of damage, if not murder. Gohan is annoying, solid team healer, great stuff. All right, I believe this is, I think Mike's, but I'm not sure. Ryo says, can you show me equips to work on, Phil G? I will. I could definitely look at that later, but let's see. Mine's the GT team, but I'll shout out when it gets that to it. Got it, stranger. All right, so let's take a look. We got Vegeta. Okay, makes sense. All right, so I believe that he is just a base buffer for this guy. I think one thing that this team could rely on or do better on is just having a, like, I'll get to it afterwards. But in terms of synergy, I think one thing you could do, instead of having a Zenkai buffer, have the health buffer. Vegeta fam has some form of tanks in the form of a health buffer. So having the coat Vegeta right here instead of this yellow Vegeta could actually play a fundamental role on their survivability. So just pointing that out there. Straight up. I love these equips on him. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I would probably change this equip, only because I feel like it could better reflect his overall usability if you were to change this for another, either A, a strike equip, or alternatively B, a more specific focused equip, like, I don't know, hybrids, kill them. But that's just me personally. I don't feel like Saiyans are as necessary to murder. And on top of that, like, you lose out on those 20 timer counts after 20 timer counts, and Vegeta can't really focus too long on Like, you won't fully get that. So, I just wonder if it's worth it. He's a solid unit if you want to just buff this dude. But I also find that having health buffers for everyone gives him survivability anyways. Plus, Majin Vegeta can tank, so. This purple. Yeah, solid. And then this, yeah, okay. Yep, okay. I have nothing bad to say about this. Okay. Sure. Yeah, and since you have this defensive buff, having a health buffer right here just adds to their ability to survive. So in terms of synergy, I think I'm going to give it a 9. I think that having a couple of change of equips is fine, and then on top of that, having a health buffer is just, I think, very recommended, especially for Vegeta fam, since they're already squishy as it is. I know that they have reduced their squishiness since the newest update, but that doesn't change the fact that having options is really useful. Another thing you could do is you could always run Angel Vegeta. That can reduce like your lack of tanking options, but in that case, you kind of have to play around with him. So if you want to run him over Angel Vegeta specifically, I would definitely say that Coat Vegeta matters a lot. Whereas if you are running Angel Vegeta instead of him, still Coat Vegeta could be a better unit than having both him and Angel. Just something to think about. Something to think about when it comes to health buffers. You could run both, but again, it's very conflicting, and it won't come up too often, having both of them on the same team. Or at a time. Yeah, but I would definitely say, Mike, having a, Coat Vegeta on your team is just super, super relevant. It's just super relevant for Vegeta fam. They'll tank better, and that's just really helpful. Especially Majin, he'll be able to abuse that a lot because he gets that damage cut each time he gets hit, which is huge. So yeah, in terms of team synergy, 9. In terms of team comp, I would again say 9. I think I'm dropping a point just because Coat Vegeta would be very helpful, or either Angel Vegeta if you want to replace this dude, and then have Coat Vegeta. So, that sort of thing. Overall, this dude right here, he's solid. I think his only issue is that until he's 6 stars, he kind of is underwhelming on the Vegeta fam team. But his blast is really solid. His strike is okay. His blue card is solid. It's just a matter... His kit is good. His kit's solid. I think it's just that Angel Vegeta promotes a lot more for for Vegeta fam at the current moment. And as the meta shifts, maybe we'll see more usage out of this SSBE. And then in terms of what this is, this looks very, very, mixed focused, only because there's a blast based, Angel Vegeta support, this is strike focused, this guy is kind of both. He's blast focused, but he can be solid in strike, and this guy he's definitely blast focused, but his equips really strike out strike, so it kind of balances out, so it looks like a balance here. 40k CC and got a Vegeta to 3 stars, fair. I just got Oob off of a daily, nicely done, Roar. Sad face. Sorry, Mike, but, I'm just saying, one thing I would definitely say is team comp-wise, Angel Vegeta is just such a solid unit. Just such a solid unit. So, and I know you have Angel Vegeta at high stars, Mike. I know you do. But in terms of team power, I can give it a 10. I mean, that's the thing. This team looks like it actually packs a punch. And then in terms of defense, even though the defense is on the low side, I can still give it a 10, just based off of the fact that you have Majin Vegeta to eat things up. You have actual heal ability. You have a unit that can just sack himself off if needed and ruin rising rushes. There's just a lot of things you can do with this team. So I wouldn't drop it. I just think that having a better team comp could help. And then having maybe a little bit less, maybe some better variety options for your equip, specifically right here, could also help. But otherwise, I have not much else to say. Good job. This is I think this is Mr. Mountain's team. Yeah. So this is Mr. Mountain's team. So let me just take a look here. Okay, so Monkey D. Luffy. This is a rate my team. So we're not overrating Vegeta fam. I think you are misinterpreting how this works. We are looking at this in the scope of the meta, yes, but we're also looking at this in terms of how well it can be used. And we're looking at it on its base standstill. So we're not just taking a look at how does it fare against hybrids, or how does it fare against regen. We're looking at how it fares against every single team that you can find on the ladder. You don't just find hybrids, you don't just find regen, and you don't just find Saiyans. If you only find that, then in that case, you're clearly not grinding up, because there are LoE players that still play in the top 100. There are still movie players that play in the top 100. There are future players. There are God Key players, right? There are DB Saga teams on the top 100. Well, top 1,000, better to say, for DB Saga. There are still female warrior teams still in the top 1K. And there's also Vegeta fam. To just say that we should look at only the ruthless meta is an overstatement and very ignorant. So no, absolutely not. I'm not overrating Vegeta fam. I'm rating them just enough. You want me to talk about overrating? You give me a regen team, let me look at that, and yes, I will rate it the way it's supposed to be rated, and yes, it will be above Vegeta fam, because that makes sense. But to say I'm overrating is essentially just complete ignorance. So don't even start with me on that. All right, let's look at Vegeta fam now. All right, so in terms of Vegeta fam, this is another Vegeta fam based upon Mr. Mountains. I know this one because I've seen him and his team. I know his stars. He's got a more blast-focused, oriented team. Again, one thing I would definitely say is because he's got this mixture right here, it makes me wonder what he could actually drop. Right now, Vegeta fam doesn't have a very good green. So if you wanted to run this one and this one right here, what I would definitely say is remove the green Vegeta. Green Vegeta, as much as he's okay, he is still an older unit. His damage output is okay. He's got some nifty, good passives, as well as a solid lock-in, and can do that infinite combo as for 10 seconds, or 10 timer counts. And as a result, I would definitely say that, I think that this Vegeta, although he's okay as a green unit, the thing is Vegeta fam does not have a good green unit. They have the transforming Trunks, but he's very specific, and he can die very, very easily. There's just not much of a, good green unit as of yet for Vegeets. So as a result, yeah, you could switch green Vegeta for Coat Vegeta if you plan to run this unit and this unit. But again, I would be very careful if you do that in regards to running this unit and this unit at the same time. So anyways, let's go to Team Synergy. Equip-wise, work on this equip. It's an A. There's no reason for it to be the way it is. We have the event out. At least get the first equip to either gold or red slot. Is just super important to do that. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting an equip on this guy, and I would rather see, more buffs, or alternatively a blast-based focused equip. This equip is okay as an interim equip. I don't really like the free-to-play equips too much, only because they're really just S-tier equips in the form of Z+. That's what they are. They're solid, they're just not the best. I wonder if this is mainly defense, which that's okay. But if this is a strike-based focus equip, I think I will have to say that you probably should focus on double defense right there. Especially if you change this for Coat Vegeta. Everything else looks fine to me. You can definitely abuse this equip with him. So that's good. And yeah, overall, I just would definitely say anything that's A, you can make it S. I don't think there's a reason not to, and that should be that. And then, so otherwise, in regards to synergy-wise, synergy for equips only, 8.5. In terms of team comp, I can give this a 9. I think one thing that, again, I can't give it the full points because I feel like when you miss out on health buffers, you miss out on the amount that you can tank. And I'm saying that only because I can see defensive equips being applied here, and defense is only good as your overall base max health. So that's why. And then finally for team power, I mean, a lot of teams can do 10. Defense-wise, this team's got it, so I would definitely say that this is more like a 9. There's a lot of tank ability, but it's specific to are they taking it head on or if they're taking it as they cover change. So that's one thing to note for this particular team when I'm looking at it. Otherwise, good stuff. Those old days in DBL were so good. Hero units, stomp, sparking, all were so good. Listen, you can still do that with a hero team. You can still get top 10k with a hero team. It's just a hell of a grind, and it's not worth it. And yes, I do need more coffee. Oh, absolutely, Mike. But the problem is, he still dies really hard to a good purple unit. That's the problem. His green card is solid, and you can obviously overall better boost that if you have more health. But at the same time, I wonder the efficacy. Can't even say it. How efficient that green Vegeta is at only 7 stars on Mr. Mountain's team. EX Super Vegeta at 6 star is a solid bench. Yes, Rez. But the problem is, at this point, he's run his course because now we have a full color wheel option. So I don't really see him as a needed bench. That's why. All right, let's take a look at this team right now. We've got Legends Limited playing LOE in the top 5K. I was playing LOE 2 last season. Nicely done, Zephyr. Okay, so let's take a look. We got Zenkai 2. So obviously this one's gonna be worked on to Zenkai 7. I get that because you can get it free from the shop. Ultimate Gohan. All right. So this looks like a Sun Fam team. Think it looks like it for the most part. I would say so. So it's a Sun Fam team. All right, so let's talk about equips first. Let's talk about this first. All right. Equips, fine. I feel like you're missing out on some health restoration abuse. So I would definitely probably change this equip for something that can do health restoration abuse. These 2 equips are fine, as they are. In regards to these equips, I'm confused. I don't know what he's trying to focus on, and this equip is not good at B. So this needs to change. This needs to go up to at least A with either a gold in the front or a red in the front. 100%. This is fine. I'm okay with this. I would question maybe this in favor of, I don't know, some sort of either health buff, or alternatively, work on this and re-roll it. I'm okay if you re-roll this equip, but you definitely need to re-roll it. You probably didn't get the awakened one, so you're probably stuck with this. In which case, if you're stuck with this, at least, actually, I wouldn't even. It's not even worth re-rolling. Just leave it as it is. Just leave it as it is until you get the re-roll. All right, let's talk about these. This can easily be improved on. I think it also has an awakening. I'm not sure if it applies to him, though. This can easily be awakened. You should be, if you get an awakened version of this at A, it's still way better than the A that is base. So awaken this. You're really just shooting yourself in the foot for doing that. This is also can be awakened. I don't know if it can awaken on him, though, so I have to double check that. But that's fine. And then this, again, gold or red slot in the front matters so much because at least it gives you a better base to work off of. This as it is, meh. It's at least better than this, but not by much. And then this, I don't like. There's so many other better equips you can run on UI that I don't understand the purpose of this, especially since his focus isn't even on his blue cards, generally speaking. In fact, most of the time when you're using your blue cards, I could say any of these other units probably would rather be using their blue cards over this guy. So I just do not see a need for this at all. Like, this is just, no bueno. And then in terms of this, you don't even have a full Saiyan team. So as a result, this is just a waste because if you pair him up with, let's say, some of your hybrids, then his overall just core defensive stat on the last slot is so horrible that you might as well not even have that slot. So get rid of that equip. Get rid of it. This is not a good equip for this Saiyan right here. he is going to get hurt. He has to then, in that case, be paired up only with this Goku and this Goku. And that fundamentally, like, takes away from your overall mixability. And as a result, you're kind of playing in a core pattern. So overall, in terms of synergy, I can only really give this a 7. It hurts me to say that, but I mean, that is the reality of what I'm seeing when I look at the equips, and the ability bonus reflects it too. In terms of team comp, I feel like there's a better purple for Sunfam. UI is not realistically the way to go for Sun Family at all. At 6 stars, you can get away with it because he will be buffing Saiyans, so okay. But at the same time, because you're running so many hybrids, as in like 3 hybrids, I would most likely just use Super Saiyan 4 Goku, as he is a better Sunfam unit, or alternatively, even a 2-star Revival Gohan. So, like, UI is a solid unit. UI is a solid unit, but, like, it's not... on Sunfam, not really. I don't agree with Sunfam being, having a UI. They need a tank. Their purple needs to be some sort of pseudo-tank. At least something. Just something. Okay, that's it. Just something. As long as it's something, it's okay. But this is not a pseudo tank even. Like, you want to talk about a pseudo tank? We can talk about this Gohan. He's a pseudo tank. And that's because he got endurance. This is actually a decent tank, plus a really annoying pesky strike locker. That's okay. Yeah. For those of you that are saying this guy is squishy as hell, yeah, you're right. He is squishy. He's extremely squishy. Like, if you want to put him on Saiyans, be my guest. You want to put him on God Key, be my guest. You want to put him on Universal Survival Saga, be my guest. But when you put him on Sunfam, that tells me that you're telling me you don't have any other better purple options. Like, hell, even just the Super Saiyan 3 Zenkai 7 Goku, the one that buffs only really Saiyans, would be a better choice than this dude. Would still be a better choice than that dude. So, you know, that's what I gotta say. So for team composition, when I'm looking at this, I can, again, only really give it like a 7.5. I think I can give it more, only because we do have a good solid set of core units, and I'm not going to treat this as it's not Zenkai 7, because this will eventually be Zenkai 7. I know that, because this is a free unit in USTR. So as a result, I'll treat it as Zenkai 7. It's just right now not there yet. Everything else seems like it's a core unit. That's fine. This is fine if you want it as a second buffer. I'm okay with that. This unit, I'm completely in disagreement with, and I just don't want him on this team. At all. At all. Like, he's just bad. All right, take care, Roar. Have a great day. UI rely on his secondary vanishes. I mean, Monkey D. Luffy. Here's the thing. UI Goku, just in general, at 6 stars, at 9 stars, at 14 stars, he's squishy. It's just inherent. He does extra damage at 9 and 14. He's solid there. But yeah, he's very mid. He's not... I agree with that. He is not a very solid unit outside of how he's handled. And that's just skill-based. And that you can say that for any unit, actually. I think the only thing that's nice about him is that if you can abuse him with Vados or with Vegeta, it does give him an elevated sense of worth, and as a result, you can actually be a little bit more tricky. That's nice. But outside of that, there are better units. There are definitely better units. I agree with that. Okay. So yeah, overall there... Yeah, I can only give Team Compass a 7 as a result. UI really hinders this team. And then in terms of team power, I can easily give this an 8. It has power until you use UI. If you use UI at any point in time, I'm dropping you to a 7. UI is just such a, like, he holds this team back way too much. See, this is where Monkey D. Luffy and I completely agree. He's just not good. Just don't put him on this team. Get him out of there. Get him out. If Game Press told you that you could use him as a substitute, don't listen. Don't listen. Unless your UI is 9 stars and you don't have somehow the other Zenkais, don't use him. Please. Don't listen. Okay? Okay. That was a little roast to Game Press. Just a little. Just a little. But Game Press is not bad, guys. It's just not the greatest. Like, just you know, chill. This says jokes, so I'll treat it as a joke and move on. But overall, if I'm looking at this just really base, at least this person got all A's. At least they did the minimum. I'm okay with that. All A's or higher. I realistically think that if you're doing this equip, why is it green slot first? But that's just me. Why is this is so painful to look at? I feel like this was for roast my team that was placed in the wrong channel. Yeah, I feel like this is a roast. This is supposed to be for roast my team. I don't think that this is a rate. But if it is a rate, let's treat it as a rate for a second. I'm not going to rate it. I'm going to just say what you could do better. If he's only 3 stars, what have you been doing? At this point, you need him at least at, like, let's say minimum 10 stars. Or minimum 9 if you've been working on him. All right, let's say minimum 9. Minimum 9. Because you can still get him to 14. I think through the co-ops. Or maybe you can't actually at this point. Maybe you need him at 12. God, there's just so much. This guy should be a Zenkai if you're going to run him. I wouldn't even bother running him if he's at 3 stars. Same with that guy. At this point, full power Broly at 2 stars would be a better option for sagas. Unless you don't have him. Zenkai, this guy. This guy, 2 stars, fine. There's just a lot of things that could be improved or changed. Like, I couldn't even say that this is a good base team. So, Mina, Game Press, I'm not, okay, so let's talk about Game Press for a second here. I'm gonna move away from this team, just for a second. All right, let's talk about Game Press. Game Press is a solid beginner's guide, okay? If you're a beginner in this game, Game Press is a great place to start. If you're an intermediate player looking for advice, and somewhat solid advice, Game Press is a good start. They have been improving. If you're looking for technical advice, however, I would not look at Game Press. Game Press looks too much into stats, and use stats as a way to essentially elevate a unit that shouldn't be in a particular position. Okay? So, there is reliability depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking to just be able to play in PvP and get to battle rank 50 and get top maybe 10k, Game Press is a solid source. But the moment you're looking to be a top 1k player, I wouldn't use Game Press anymore. If you're doing 1k or higher, Game Press is not the place to be. If you plan to stay at a more intermediate level or casual level, then Game Press is a solid website, and I would definitely recommend you use it. In terms of like equipment or solid choices, or trying to see their reasoning for certain equipment choices, I would look at Game Press, because I would like to see, you would want to see what is their reasoning. Why are they doing what they're doing? It's important to still digest information, even if that information is something that you disagree with. It's important to still look at them, so I even still look at Game Press a lot, and my reasoning for looking at Game Press is to compare and contrast what the meta looks like versus what they're saying, because it gives you an idea of where they might have a point versus where they're just flat out wrong, and that's okay. The thing about Game Press is they're very opinion-based. They're very opinion-based, and they're very, very, like, they're trying to rate everything kind of on their own, which is problematic in of itself. However, when you look at it as just an information tool and guide, with how they've updated with a different roster of teams, I say that's a much more fair way to play the game and a fair way to scale it. So they have improved. They have improved. So again, if you're looking at Game Press, please look at it more as a compare-contrast type of website and less so much about like it being the authority. If you're looking for authority, I would definitely say you're going to want to be part of Discords. You're probably going to want to be part of the DBL community on Discord and really see what tier lists they have as a community. The community tier lists are much more representative of the meta, and even then, it's still not infallible. There are still problems. In terms of just like core information, DBZ Space is the best, but unfortunately, they don't discuss team rankings. They don't discuss team tier lists, and as a result, it's limited. DBZ Space, although being the best in terms of info, is still not, I would say, 100% the best source, but it is the best source that we have. So I would say a mixture of looking at Game Press, looking at the community, and also using DBZ Space for core guides on your equipment and how to get it to Z or Z+, or just in general, like stats or passives, seeing what equips could be applied and stuff like that. Yo, Rez, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Monkey D. Luffy says, Game Press I don't see as reliable, firstly, due to the fact that units are viewed at different stars. Yep. Top of that, it should be an individual tier list of the unit and not be based on their team. We already have a team tier list for stuff like that. So one thing I agree with is that, from what Monkey D. Luffy is actually saying here, is that, yes, a unit should still be looked at individually, but I also disagree on the fact that we should also still focus on a team, only because if we were to focus on just tier lists alone, then Vados is, on her own, is very mid, actually low mid in that case. But with her team and with solid defense, she's really high, so I do appreciate that. So I feel like there's I would say there's a good level in between when you do individual tier lists, that you should still have a team focus orientation in your mind. But at the same time, when I look at Game Press and their tier list, the only thing I agreed with was their Z tier list, tier list, and not the order. The order I thought was all wrong. But the tier list itself, like, the place was fine. Then we get to their S tier list, and that was all over the place, and I hated it. It was just all over the place. I had a discussion in my community just like a couple of days ago about how I hated their S tier, their tier 1 units. Like, it was just really bad. But they're getting better. But the problem is they're doing things on their own, and on your own isn't good enough. You need a community. You need your top players to be voting. That's why I do like the community tier list better, even if they're still not perfect. Is 2-star Beerus okay or like usable? No, please don't use 2-star Beerus. Night Zuba, do not. Okay? Hey, Phil, I'm going to sleep, so good night for my time or good afternoon. All right, take care, Justin Otaku. Thanks for coming by, okay? Mike is like, I like roast my teams, though. Phil roast my whales teams with bad equipment choices. See, this is where I think I can agree with Monkey D. Luffy, right? So, wow, thank you. I've been using Game Press. Yo, thank you, Super Rushy. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Using Game Press for the longest time. Yeah, so Mina, one thing I would definitely say, guys, if I'm going to, let's see. So look at this. Look who I have above. So I've saved both short-linked. Why have I saved both of these short-linked? Because it's important to look at this to compare. It's also important to look at your Discord. So if I go onto Discord real quick, guys, and I go to the community, let me show you the community that I think you guys should all join if you're not already joined. Oh, God. Not what I'm trying to do. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. Let me just do that real quick. Go to this, Dragon Ball Legends, all right? And then they have a community tier list. They have Game Press tier list. They have Game Press discussion. Then we have community tier lists. If we're looking at community tier lists, this is what I would look at. It's not perfect, but I do agree with the first 10 placements, just not in the order that they're in. That's fine. And then you get a better sense of what is where, and that's okay. That's a better use of your voting system, as well as getting a sense of what is at the tier when you're looking at tier lists. Now, would I use it for more than just this? I don't really like talking in here. I don't really like going too much into this place. I do like game ideas or feedback stuff, but outside of that, I don't use it for much more than a community tier list because I vote in this place, so I like to vote as well, so that we get a better representation of what units look like on tier lists. And then obviously, I have my Discord, which has like over 800 members at this point, so I use that too for when we make stuff. Yeah, thank you, Subarashi. I appreciate that. It's r/Dragon Ball Legends. Sorry, that's just me. I like to say Legends a lot. All right. let's begin. So let's look at the... Wait, is this the same team as Mr. Mountains? What's the difference? Did he improve it in some way? I barely see an improvement, so I'm gonna just say, okay, let's move on. We've seen this team already. I've already seen this team. Yep, this is the same team. I'm gonna move on. OG Sun. OG Sun? Wait. Oh, it's powerful opponents. Okay, let's take a look at this. Democracy. Exactly. Rez, a good tier list usually has a little bit of democracy, even if there's discrepancies. There's still a better thing than... Like, Game Press, I feel like, is kind of like 10 people deciding a tier list, whereas a community tier list is more like, I would say, at least 1,000 people deciding on the tier list. Will there be outliers that are just make no sense? Yes. But will the majority at least have some sort of consensus of what's where? Yes. Yes, I appreciate the donations, guys. Both Rez and Subarashi, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. So let's take a look at powerful opponents, because that's what I'm seeing here. Do we have the very best powerful opponent team? Actually, does powerful opponent have a good red? Is it Bojack? Do we have a... Just look at DBZ space real quick. Characters. I just want to see. I think Bojack is a... There's also half-corrupted fusions of Masu. Let me just pull them both up. Because I know he's not powerful opponent. He, for some reason, doesn't have it. So, yeah, he's powerful opponent. Powerful, yeah, so he buffs powerful opponent. Still at 6 stars, okay. That's a very solid unit. He's powerful opponent as well, which makes sense. Let me just take a look at when he buffs. So he buffs powerful opponent at... Oh, yeah. These are... That's such a big miss to not run that, especially... Yeah. That was very zero modal absolute pogs. Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, so yeah, one thing I would definitely say here is maybe having a red powerful opponent could be very, very useful. In terms of who I would replace, though, it depends on where they are. Where do you put the teams, Zeep? In the Discord. Yeah. Bojack. Why is purple hit not powerful opponent? I don't know, Rez. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. He does feel to me like a powerful opponent unit. But here we are. I think powerful opponent really has been reserved for antagonist characters. Like those characters that are the antagonists of a season or of a certain part. Yeah, it's rate my team right there, Monkey D. Luffy. You got it. All right, let's take a look at this ability bonus as it is, and then we can talk about team comp afterwards. All right, in terms of this stuff, I mean, I feel like I already know who this is, considering I'm looking at the equips and I see there's a lack of work on it, but overall it's fine. Yeah, equipment-wise and ability bonus-wise, I could definitely say that it's a solid, like, 9. Like, it can easily push itself to an actual 9 if there's a work on the equips, except for this curse thing. Whatever the hell this is, get rid of it. I hate it. Not because it's a bad equip, but because I see triple green and that bothers the hell out of me. Oh, Subarashi, I'm not considering Red Cell only because I'm looking at this team. And no, you're right. Red Cell could actually be another option. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. If you want synergy-wise, I would definitely run either Fusions of Master or Bojack. The Bougiac. But then if you're running for a revival, like any sort of revival team, then Red Cell actually can easily make a strong argument to be on this team too. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Subarashi. You're right. Yell Hit's the only one that killed Goku, lol. Cell killed Goku. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so... Yeah, so ability bonus-wise, I can... and synergy-wise, I can give it a 9. For team comp, however, I think I'm only going to give it like 8.5. I'm conflicted by the the Kid Buu and the Borley both being on the team, I'm wondering which one would be the better option. This yellow Frieza on powerful opponent is fantastic. That's fantastic. Having a health buffer for powerful opponents, also fantastic. He's solid. He's solid. In fact, actually, I think at this point, their green unit is their weak link, and that's a good thing, considering what we see as our green unit. Not my team. As Frieza, I don't care for... Okay, fine, Mike. All right, so use Ultra Instinct, says Muaz Shaquille. Okay. Well, anyways, so I'd either drop Kid Buu or I'd drop Borley. Let me just double check. Let me double check them so I can just see. Okay, they're both up here. That's good. Let me see what they buff at what stars so I can get a good idea of what we're dealing with here. Powerful opponent, do you buff powerful opponents, though? Because at this point, I would actually focus on... They both power... Okay. Powerful opponent, Sagas. Okay, that's important to note. Importante to note. Powerful opponent, Regen. Alrighty. So then, I know what to say here. Considering we have a Sagas, but we have nothing here. Nothing. It really depends on which way you go. If you decide to focus on Bujiak... sorry, not the right one. If you focus on Bujiak, I would definitely say that this Borley is the good idea. So if you're going Bujiak, replace Kid Buu and keep this one. If you're going for either Cell or you're going for half-corrupted Zamasu, then I would keep Kid Buu and I would just completely drop this Borley. But considering the fact that you have this guy, who I believe is part of Sagas, if I'm not mistaken, so let me just double check that. But I believe he's part of Sagas, even if he doesn't buff Sagas. He doesn't buff Sagas, but I think he is a Saga. Yeah, he is. And if you decide to use him for whatever reason, then in that case, you're actually probably better off running Bujiak. Which means that you're better off running full power Borley for synergy purposes. So overall, I can still give this like an 8 in terms of team comp, but I think there's confliction here with the two of them being present, and one or the other would be a better option with some sort of solid red unit. Both have very good passives. Both Broly and Kid Buu have very good passives. It's just a matter of which one you rely on more, and what do you want your team comp to be with a red unit there. So I think that matters a lot. So yeah. Overall, like, I can't really say much about this other than solid, like, 8 out of 10. A lot of stars, helps a lot, considering powerful opponent without a lot of stars is a very squishy team. But with a lot of stars, can hold their own very well. I just think that the blue and the blue, could switch one around, have a red, make it a lot better. And then finally, in terms of team power, I'm sure this is going to hit like hell. And it's going to tank very well, especially this Borley, especially this Goku Black. This Frieza, I'm not actually sure how well it tanks at 7 stars. I've seen it at 6 stars. It doesn't tank super well. But then again, that was a direct hit. I don't know what its cover change looks like, so let me just double check that real quick. Because that would give me a good idea for its rating. Oh, here it is. Let me see. Let's say 7 stars. Let's say 5,000. Let's take a look at stats. Okay, thank you. That gives me an idea. Now let me see of its defenses. Reduce damage by 40% when battle starts. Okay, when battle starts, it already has a 40% increase. 40% increase when it comes to your defense and your strike defense. Okay, so that actually is starting to hit Zenkai levels of defense. Cool. Quick maths. And then what else do we have? Nothing here. When changing cover, so it has a cover change a little bit. And yeah, it has a cover change for blast. And then does it have any way to increase defense somewhere? Source 40. Okay, no. Okay, so in that case, in terms of defensive properties, when it comes to this team, because I don't know this character super well. Yeah, this is live. Link plays games. Yeah, so you can talk here, and I'll talk right back to you. So then, in that case, when I'm looking at this team, in terms of overall power, I'm going to give it a 9 as well. He's got defense, but just straight up getting hit, it's a lot of damage still. And then on top of that, if he's cover changing, the the excessive amount that he actually defends isn't too high, and if the opponent is running penetration, like let's say Red Launch or someone else like that, it won't even apply anyways. It won't matter. You'll still run right through it, and especially you'll run right through even his just overall base percentage up health. So he's really going to be, in that case, defending with whatever base stats you've applied plus your equips. And if I look at this team in terms of the equips, in terms of defense, there's not a whole lot of it. There's some, but not a lot. So as a result, this guy is going to take hefty damage. He's got the health buffer, which is nice, but it just makes me wonder how well this team tanks overall. Probably tanks decently well, but some of these guys have base higher defense than this unit. So there you go. All right, so that's that for that team. Let's close a lot of these, because I just wanted to look, because I'm not very familiar with Powerful Opponent as much as I am with a lot of other teams, since it's not a very common team to see. All right, sorry, Yosha. This looks like a regen team. All right, so it looks like it's blast focused for the most part, with obviously the green unit, because it's the most solid green unit that regen really has. Angel 21 is solid, but she lacks defense, even at 14 stars. I should know. And I have her on the free-to-play account at 14, or Emily has her at 14 stars. And then on top of that, her cover rescue is only as good as if you don't get drop comboed on, or they are not like nullifying it with someone that just nullifies cover changes or cover rescues in general. Hey, Saint, how you doing? Powerful Opponent is very expensive, yeah. Regen team-wise, let's take a look. We have an okay purple. I would say it's more like a substitute purple at this point. DKP is way better, but it's okay. It's just I would never bring her into a fight, realistically. Double blue, which is okay if you want to buff up Kid Buu, but I just wonder about the relevancy, especially since that Kid Buu doesn't look like it's being buffed as well as the Piccolo. What are we missing here? Are we missing a color? Red, yellow, green, blue, purple. We're not missing a color. I just feel like that yellow Piccolo is okay, but he doesn't really buff anyone. So synergy-wise, I don't think I gave this more than a 6. Like, synergy-wise. For a regen team, this is very low synergy, which is interesting. I think a lot of that just comes... 21 does buff HP, which is fine. But no, my issue comes from the fact that we're running both this Piccolo and this Kid Buu. It's not because it's a bad choice. It's because it's usually only a good choice if you're not running, let's say, this Piccolo. This Piccolo really demands that you have the rest of the team buff each other, because he's not buffing anyone. Kamikolo is good. Kamikolo is good. Kid Buu is good. My issue is, again, there's a lack of synergy due to the fact that there are so many non-buffers on the team, which definitely play a role in how much damage you take. Team comp-wise, personally speaking, if you can't replace this Piccolo, I would definitely say this guy's got to go up to 6. If you're really going to focus on blast focused, and you don't have this guy at 6 stars yet, I would drop him for now. Keep him. It's not ideal, but that is the reality of this particular situation, since he can at least tank. This guy cannot at 3 stars as well. Otherwise, if you are going to keep Kid Buu and not this dude right here, sorry, I should probably use the mouse, not my fingers, because you guys can't see. I would definitely still run DKP, like the purple DKP, if you have them. I'm going to be the first to say DKP at 2 stars cannot tank, but can tank at least a little bit, and then on top of that, his damage at 2 stars even is astounding. So yeah, that's one thing. Also, Nightbot is being a butt, because it removed the wolves. What's the point of running both of them when Kamikolo is a replacement for Kid Buu? You have both on the team. It's probably for buffs. Most likely what's happening here is maybe they're running Kid Buu, and they're using Kamikolo for Zenkai buff. But its efficacy is very, very questionable. You can still bench one, yes, exactly. But I just find that if you're going to run Kamikolo most of the time anyways, then Kid Buu is not needed. Purple EX Nail is a great bench, not gonna lie. Yes, you're right. I just feel like in this particular situation, you could either run Nail instead of Kid Buu, only because of the how little stats Kid Buu has at the current moment. Because there is no okay, here's what I would say. If that Kamikolo right here was the Zenkai 7 Legends Limited, I would drop the other Kamikolo immediately, the blue one, and keep Kid Buu, even at 3 stars. But because I'm looking at that particular regen unit, I think having the full Zenkai roster, or as much Zenkai as possible, really helps this team in keeping itself alive. You probably just got here in time, Roar. I'm not sure. Get Demon King Piccolo to Zenkai 7. You could do that too. Demon King Piccolo at Zenkai 7 would be solid, but that's more of a strike-based team, but you can still do that. So if you want to, you could run Demon King Piccolo, Majin Buu, and then Kid Buu. I would be totally fine with that, even at 3 stars. Because then you have 2 tanks, and Kid Buu can just be the annoying Shet that dodges constantly. Henry Peterson, I'm fantastic. How you doing? Can you explain when Z abilities and Zenkai abilities are activated? I'm confused with this. So Z abilities are applied first, then you have your Zenkai abilities that are applied afterwards. So you apply all of your Zenkai abilities, like Zenkai buffs, after your base buffs have been applied. Also, yellow DKP is now in the USTR. Yep, exactly. So if you're going for a strike-focused team, then that's fine. But in that case, I wonder if Red Cell... Actually, no, I would still keep Red Cell. Otherwise, you could use half-corrupted Zamasu. So there's a lot of options for this team. I just find that if you have to run the Legends Road Piccolo, I would rather run something with a lot of tank ability. So yeah, if Legends Road Piccolo is a must at the current moment, then Kamikolo, the other Kamikolo, is a must at the moment. So that's what I would say. In terms of team comp, I don't remember what I said, but I would probably give it a 7. It's a solid team comp. It just could be better. And then in regards to team power, I would say that in terms of survivability, in terms of what it can do, in terms of tanking, I would give it 8.5. It can still tank. It still has a revive unit. It just has a couple of flaws that can easily be fixed up, and it would change the scope of the thing. I think that having Android 21 for a health buffer is solid, but if you are doing a health buff, please, 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 at that point, have everyone else be a solid buffer for the team, and that includes Red Cell being buffed to 6 stars to fully flesh that out. Yeah, Red Cell is Blast. Yes, he is Blast-oriented, and he mainly focuses on Blast. His strike is okay. I would say it's actually pretty much poo-poo, but when he transforms, his strike is okay. All right, and let's move on to the next one. Fusions. Alrighty. Let's take a look at this. 6-star, 9-star, 14-star, 6-star, 7-star, 8-star. How many Vegetos we got here on this team? 1. Okay, we'll get to that. In terms of synergy, I like this only because there's a hatred for hybrids, and I appreciate that. But I still question how much you're actually going to see hybrids. Okay, so in regards to this team and what I have to say about it, I would definitely say that these equips are overall solid. I can see a theme. I do appreciate the fact that he's getting health despite not having a health buffer. I can see definitely this will increase his defense quite a bit. He does buff everyone, but he also buffs Vegito base too. But there's only one Vegito to actually abuse the buff. So it makes me wonder if maybe Vegito Blue would be better served here instead of a blast focus unit, especially since even though he is, I think he might be blast oriented, he's still good on both. This guy's defensive, but he definitely has a more, he's I would say more solid in terms of his strike. And this guy is very blast oriented, although his blue is a very solid lock-in. And then this guy's just really support. That's all he really is. So One thing I would definitely say is this equip feels so mid, only because of it being an A equip. That hurts me. Like, I see the work that was put on this, and I just wonder why the same hasn't been applied here. And if it has, maybe you're just having a very unlucky day. But it really feels like this should be much more than what it is. One thing you could do if you want to improve this, and I guess I'll have to jump into team comp just a little bit. You could replace this for a full health buffer. So the yellow Gotenks for a full health buff. If yellow Gotenks is 6 to 14 stars, is just a solid health buffer, because it means that you could maybe replace these hybrid equips for actual defensive equips. And if you do that, you're actually applying more defense than if you were to just apply this base defense and only have certain characters have health buffs. Because I can see him having a health buff. I can see it. His equip gives him a health buff. And if you could further apply that while also giving him defense, then I mean, you can do the same for this guy who also buffs the entire team's defense. You also give them a much better range of health pool to work from, and you can last longer. Whereas this guy, yes, he gives a lot of defense and also applies a little bit extra to another Vegito. But that is limited by the fact that most of these characters are not getting health buffs. Are you reviewing the team backwards? I'm going down the list, Arez. That's what I'm doing. Sure, Mina, a very good fusion hot team, yes. It is a very good fusion hot team. But in terms of, like, synergy, I think I can only really give it 8.5, and I'm saying that only because there's a lack of Vegito to actually abuse with this Vegito. You know, if this was, like, back in the day, then I would 100% agree with this pick, only because that Vegito is a solid pick for Vegito-based teams. But we're no longer in a meta where it's just Vegito. There's a lot of Gogeta too, and that means that this Vegito kind of has run his course. Now, if you don't have anything better, fine, leave him. But I'm just saying yellow Gotenks with a health buffer does apply a better pool for you to work with. In terms of team comp, again, my only real big thing is yellow Gotenks. Yellow Gotenks, again, would be a better team comp. And then on top of this, pure VB, I mean, not pure VB, what am I talking about? Vegito Blue could be a solid unit, but I can also, you can make an argument for this guy because A, Zenkai, and then B, his blue card has a lock-in under certain conditions, so, you know, that's also really dope. So, I will definitely say that there's an argument for either or. I would just definitely say that since I look at these equips and I see a lot of defense being applied in some areas, having a health buffer, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Overall, in terms of team power, though, power-wise, you're there. Everything is there. I would be surprised if this ain't more than like a 9 or less than a 9. So it's 9 or higher. I think there's just a couple of things that you could work on, and then it would be a solid team. All right. So I saw that. So working on Blue Goku. Okay. I just replaced Goku. Okay, so we have Aiden's team. Let me open that one. Let's open that. Let's open that. Shan. Powerful opponent. Let's take a look at that. Look at Shinigami. Let's look at Joy's other team. Ah, it's an improvement. Oh, is there? No, it looks like the exact same team. The exact same team. I've already looked at that. No. I already looked at that. Open that. Open that. I'm going to have to go through these teams a little bit faster. And I've noticed that there's a couple of people that are like posting way too many of the same teams, or like alternatively, they're posting more than one team at a time. So it's going to be hard for me to get through everything. So what I'm going to do is, where should I put the health buff Godku? Where should I put Vada? Oh, I like this. I will answer those questions. That's a very good question. I like that. Ooh. That's very nice. I actually want to talk about that too, because that looks very nice. Let's see. Subarashi. Take a look. I'm going to open that. I'm going to go through these a little bit faster than normal just because I feel like that could be very important to do that. I just want to open the original. Sure. Let's take a look at this. Ooh, that looks good. Open that. All right. Hello, Mauricio. How you doing? Summoning in the Zamasu banner, trying to get it, but I couldn't get it after 20k. That's fine. Yeah, I don't have Gogeta Blue. That's fine. That's okay. You don't have Gogeta Blue. Yellow Go Tanks. If you already have Blue. Okay. There we go. Anyways, let's take a look at these real quick. All right, so let's take a look at this team. Okay, so when we're looking at this particular team, I'm going to be seeing what we can do to improve the team. Just because this is a Saiyan's team, but I know who this is. It's Aiden. And as a result, I know that Aiden is working a lot slower than a lot of other people, so please bear with me. The way I'm going to rate this team is going to be a little bit different than how I normally scope this out, so the rating scale is going to be different for this one, specifically. So in regards to this, this equip is fine, just because Shallot is included into this fight, and I know he brings in Shallot a lot, so I completely am okay with that. Aiden, one thing I would definitely say for you, specifically, my bud, when it comes to this equip, because I know you're heavily relying on Shallot at times, I would definitely awaken this equip, dude. Even an awakened A version of that same Shallot equip is way better than just base A. So one thing I would Roar, just repost your team. Roar, repost it. I'm good. I have a quick question. What do you think would benefit me more? Red 2 purple, red 2. Oh, so 9-star purple Zamasu or 7-star purple future Vegeta? On future? I'm assuming that's on future. If it's on future, Mauricio, what I would definitely say is that 7-star purple future Vegeta, better. It's better. And then get him to 9. If you can run both, do it. But generally speaking, on future, purple future Vegeta is the better choice. And if you're thinking of God Key, definitely purple future Vegeta. Although I honestly think that both of them shouldn't be on God Key. Phil, do you think 6-star SSBE Vegeta is better than 9-star Angel Vegeta? Right now, no. Maybe in the future, yeah, maybe. But right now, as the meta currently has evolved itself into what it is, no. Angel Vegeta has too much. There's too much for Angel Vegeta. Too much Angel Vegeta. Like, Angel Vegeta is just too much right now, okay? As we get maybe more attribute downgrades, like, or cancelers, as we get more units that can even ignore cover changes, that can reduce key or potentially become, like, can nullify battery-based units, I just don't see SSBE replacing Angel Vegeta on, let's say, specific teams. SSBE is a fantastic unit, don't get me wrong. But he's being held back right now by the fact that A, he is new, and B, the meta hasn't consolidated itself to let him fit himself in properly. And that's going to come with time. With time, we've seen things like Kid Buu climb the ranks, whereas when he first came out, obviously he was more like a questionable unit. A lot of these units tend to be questionable upon release and only really consolidate themselves as time moves on and as we see better synergy. Because, like, when I look at SSBE, I'm still trying to figure out how he fits into his teams, how should he be used, and is there, like, what can he do? Like, for example, when we're looking at Vados, why do we not replace Vados on strike-based God Key teams? She's a battery unit. She essentially allows you to make your other units that much stronger. It gives them survivability. It gives them so many things. It's the same thing. It's why I don't see Angel Vegeta really going away anytime soon. It's because he is a battery unit. So, yeah, so Saint, to give you an eye, sorry for being late. It's all good, NXRG. You're here now. Welcome. But yeah, when we're looking at this, dude, Aiden, focus on this equip. I would say get it at least to equipment awakening A, right? And then another thing is I would refix this, try to get it to A. So try to farm for a new equip of this if you want to use it, okay? I think that would be a good idea. What I would say. In regards to this guy, my dude, I would think about maybe finding a better yellow unit for yourself. So, for example, I know you have the yellow slushy Goku, aka the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Yellow Goku. You could replace him with that. That would be a good idea, honestly. He would be a better fit for your team because I know that your units are different and you focus a little bit less on just grinding all the way to the top. Let's see. And then this guy's fine for the most part. Yep. I would definitely say here, bud, is if you can get him to Zenkai 7, do it. Same here, get him to Zenkai 7. And then for him, if you are doing USTR, bud, you can also get him to Zenkai 7 over time. But realistically, my dude, I think one thing you could benefit from is maybe finding, like, showing me in DBL, into my Discord, like, show me your green units and see what we can do to replace at least one of these units for a green unit, a solid one. All right. In terms of, like, rating, I think I'm going to rate this in regards to a holistic scope, Aiden. So, again, work on this equip, re-roll and get a version of this equip at least, okay? Replace him with Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, and then show me your green units in Discord and at me, dude. And then we can replace one of these units, probably this one or this one. Most likely this one, though, dude. With, you know, a green unit that is solid. That could give you a much better variety to work with, dude. Okay? And no problem saying I got you. And I think that's how I would rate this. I don't think I can rate this dude on the same scope because this wouldn't really compete in the higher echelons of PvP. Not as effectively. You could actually make it work, but like I said, it's not actually a good idea. All right, let's take a look at this Saiyan's team because this is definitely different from the other one. All right, so this is Saiyan. All right. I'm jealous. That's an Angel Vegeta. I don't have that. I want this Angel Vegeta so bad, even at 2 stars. I can't pull him to save my life. Okay, so let's take a look at this real quick. Let me just eat a little bit of my sandwich. I'm hungry and I have barely eaten. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. That interests me. That's intriguing. All right. So when I'm looking at this team particularly, interesting Saiyan's team. I wouldn't say it's like the utmost highest of core units, and I would argue that I question this particular unit on the team, not because he's a bad unit in general. Disruptive Zamasu good on strike regen. Yeah, 100% NXRJ. Yeah, 100%. If you're doing a strike-based regen team, then half-corrupted Teletubby Zamasu is a fantastic unit. I have to go just rate my team if you can, as future teams. I said I got equips higher than A. I'll be back if you're still alive. Sounds good, Mauricio. All right, I'll do that. Okay. So, in terms of equips, you can get this to S rank. Like, since it's awakened, that's good. I think I would work on the middle slot, because you can't work on the first anyways. And then the third slot doesn't really matter as much, but you can still work on that too in case that you do meet up against some LOE units. So that's okay. I would say otherwise, this is solid picks for these 2 at the top. This is solid, yeah. This is fine. Although, I would definitely say for this Gogeta, specifically, if you're running these based equips, I would definitely work on this. So that way your overall defenses are a little bit higher, because he will not tank very well if this isn't built properly. And even then, I would definitely say that having an extra defensive or health buffer equip really can play a massive role in this guy's survivability. In regards to this Vegeta, I don't think Zenkai buffing this dude matters too much. So I would definitely say that maybe putting Raditz on this team would actually be a better use of your time, especially when it comes to his defensive property buffs, than just buffing one unit and then buffing some blast. Like, it's not necessarily what I would say is needed. Now, again, if your skill level is enough that you want to deal more damage than actually tank, then fine. But just be aware that your ability to survive will be much greater with a little bit of extra health. And then Angel Vegeta is a good battery, even at 3 stars. Just, you know, tanking-wise, he won't be doing very good, especially if he's caught, like, on the board versus if he's cover changing. And even if he's cover changing, he can still take a lot of damage depending on the red unit or just unit in general that's hitting him. So overall, in terms of synergy, I would definitely give this like a 7.5. I think a lot of its issues just stem from the fact that certain equips need to be properly put together. This really just looks like the most solid, like a highest based ability bonus was given to this unit just to inflate this ability bonus, which is fine in terms of damage calc ratios, but not fine in terms of like how well it actually synergizes with the rest of the team. The fact that he's only Zenkai 4 is fine, I guess, but it just makes me question why he's Zenkai 4 instead of just Zenkai 3 at this point, considering he doesn't buff anyone, and I would prefer on a Saiyan's team that you're either running UI or ideally the Super Saiyan 3 is Zenkai 7 Goku, but UI at 6 stars could actually be a solid, like, pseudo-defensive unit, not because he's actually tanky, but because of his cover change. Which would also ironically get buffed by him if you wanted to keep him in. And then Angel Vegeta is just a pseudo tank as well. So even at 3 stars, just because of his decrease of ki for the team. That's because most of regen is also a powerful opponent. Yep. Yeah. All right. So yeah, in terms of team comp, in terms of Saiyans, he's an okay substitute on Saiyans, but I would say that Red Gogeta is still better. I can't think of a better Red Saiyan. You want a Zenkai buff Super Saiyan 4Ku, it's really not needed, but you can use Izzy, yeah, and be fine as both yeah, exactly. Richa, got it, 100%. If you're gonna buff this dude, you might as well just run Super Saiyan 3 Zenkai 7 Goku. Like, yeah, that's very true. This guy is not needed, and it means that you can go between the two and decide which one is better for specific matchups. Or alternatively, you could run both. So, yeah, that's actually very true. Terms of team comp-wise, again, Raditz could be a fundamental game changer here. Super Saiyan 3 could also be a fundamental game changer, only because even though he's a very linear unit, against regen, very strong, with Angel Vegeta, has a lot of tank ability, has a lot of health resource to work with. On top of that, has a feint ability. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Zenkai is pretty underrated, mainly on a blast team for Saiyan. Yes, when I'm looking at this particular team, I see it more as like a mix. So as a result, it's hard for me to want to say Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Zenkai. But if, however, instead of Gogeta, Green Gogeta, it was Zenkai 7 Super Saiyan 3 LFku, then what I would definitely say in this particular situation, that this would immediately switch to Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. 100%. 100%. His cover change is okay. Super Saiyan Vegeta, I'd say, is better on Saiyans than a Gogeta. It depends, Monkey D. Luffy. It depends on what you're running, right? I'm looking at how this team is set up, and it looks very strike-focused. And because there's a focus on strike, despite there being this guy and this guy, because, I mean, I'm looking at this, that's strike, that's strike. There's also blue card focus here. Strike and, it's strike and then defense, plus crits. Like, I'm looking at this team, it's very strike-oriented because of these equips. So as a result, when I'm looking at strike orientation, that's why I'm making my decision here. If we're going blast-based, then yeah, I agree, 100%. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is way better on Saiyans than Gogeta. 100%, agreed. But because this team is very strike-focused for a couple of ranged units, I really have to tip my hat off to Gogeta here. And I am not going to back down from that one. If we were to change that, LFku, Super Saiyan 3 needs to be here. Angel Vegeta stays. There's no argument there. Super Saiyan 3, Zenkai 7 Goku should probably be here. Maybe that be Raditz. You probably don't even need this guy. This guy can stay, and then Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. That's how I'd range this. So in terms of team comp, I'll give it a 7. And then in terms of power, I can give it an 8. It has power. It has defense. It's pseudo defense. There is some defense applied to this team for sure, but I wonder if there are better options. Would purple DKP work on strike regen or not? Yes, 100%. Purple DKP works on both blast and strike. Purple DKP should never be underestimated. Underestimating purple DKP is a death sentence. All right, what the frig is this? God Key. All right, let's take a look. All right. Here's what I would say when it comes to this particular team. If you're going to run this particular team, as it is, I have a couple of issues. Actually, I have so many issues. I have to rip this apart. So let me just rip it apart. I'm sorry to whoever this is. I need to rip you apart a little bit so you understand why. There is a confusion here when it comes to how God Key runs. This looks like a mixed bag of confusion. This God Key unit is a solid unit, okay? He's solid on God Key. But my issue here that I'm seeing is that there is a mix. There's a mix here in terms of strike and blast. This unit on a strike-focused God Key is more than acceptable, but still, I wouldn't do it. Vados is just that good, okay? So, I would drop him altogether. You could argue a strike-focused team without Vados, and that's fine, but this is a mixed bag. It's not a strike-focused team, so get rid of Goku Black, okay? So I'm not even going to rate this because I can't. I legitimately cannot rate this. If your focus is this Goku right here, then I swear you really need to double check if you have Champa. If you have Champa, he's an auto replacement. Auto replacement. You replace this dude immediately. 2-star Gogeta Blue is fine, but he's a strike-focused unit, and he is right now being hindered by the fact that he's on a team that is lacking a lot of synergy. Okay? And then, yeah, let's look at the equips real quick here. This feels like it's only Rival Universe. These equips are strike-focused. But why are you running Vados and him? You don't want to put them together anyways. Then you have Blast Focus, and I'm confused. It's a mixed bag here. So, Champa, this dude, Vados is cool. Honestly, at 3 stars, UI is fine. But if you have a Super Saiyan Blue Vegito at like 6 stars or higher, auto-replace UI for that Vegito. You could keep UI if you don't have the Vegito, though. So that's fine. It's just that at 3 stars, UI gets caught. It's going to be a bad situation here. When you use Gogeta 2 stars, at least 6, he's a unit which is heavily star-reliant, even beyond regular units. Yeah, no, I agree. He's usable at 3 stars, I would say, on God Key. Because at least he buffs the team. You changed up that team? Alright, then we're just gonna move on then. Move negs, okay. Okay. Hot damn, I like this. Clapku, buff. Buff. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely do this. Okay, so let's take a look. We have health buffers on, okay, I like this. This is fine. All right, so I can see there is an intent to not run the red coup. Why? Because they're doing a lot of equips in order to buff health in some fashion. And I appreciate that. So, and they're not running a red unit because they don't need it. Red units are not necessary for God Key. It's nice to have. And it's a very, like, having half-corrupted Teletubbies and Zamasu is solid, but this also works. Check the recent image. All right, I'll take. Lol, sorry for the questions. Would Zenkai 21 work on regen? Because I don't have Any other blue, pretty much. Yes, NXRJ, if you do not have any other blue, Zenkai 21, Zenkai 7, 21 blue Goku, Android 21 is really good. Yes, you can use her. God. Yeah, so it's got health buffers. Good. Health base, health restore, a 6-star Godku, which is good. I would personally push him to 9, but that's just me being a nitpick at this point. We got Zenkai buffs for days. It's very strike focused. This guy is good at both, so that's fine. And then she's blast based, but it doesn't matter because she's more of a Dragon Ball farmer plus buffer for the team. I have nothing really to say here. In terms of overall, I can give this a score of 30 out of 30. I mean, I could always neg some points because I know 6-star Godku will, like Slapku, will take some time to ramp up, especially if he's only at 6 stars. But at the same time, that's just me being nitpicky. He's got a revive. He's got Vados to buff him. He's got the ability to heal up. He's got the ability, well, like I said, to revive. He's got his own pseudo healing. He's got a health buffer here. He's got cover change galore. He's got defense in terms of pseudo break. That there's not much that I would really do here. You could do awakening of particular equips, but even then, like I'm not gonna nitpick too hard here. Like I think the only thing really is that awakening of, I believe this equip can be done. Double check that. Went too far. Went too far. There it is. God Key Goku, yeah. So you can definitely do it. So you can awaken this equip and this equip. And let me double check that equip real quick. Sagas from the movies. You can awaken this equip too. You can also awaken this equip in particular. So this equip could be awakened, and these equips could be awakened. But outside of that, I would say that's more of a nitpick. And, you know, I would definitely say that that would be a way to improve. I wouldn't necessarily get rid of these equips yet. What I would do is on the side work on the awakened versions, and if you can get better versions or like a Z or Z plus, a Z plus, then I would just replace them immediately with the awakened. But outside of that, I have nothing much else to say other than solid, 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 solid. Good job. Good job. I'm going to leave this open because I like that. So yeah, I would probably just give it 30 out of 30. Honestly, there's not much left to improve. It's just realistically improve some stars, work on getting these awakened, this one, and this one, but not necessarily using them, like on the side, working on more and working that way. And then, yeah, 9-star this guy at minimum. I know you can use him at 6, but work on him. Get him to 7, get him some extra buffs. Get him to 8, get him some extra buffs. Get him to 9, get him some extra, like, just, you know, get more stars. That's all. And you're good. This is solid. I like this. Good job. I have a lot of questions. Health buffer is fine. This guy does not tank at 2 stars. He's okay in damage. He has a cover rescue, which is okay. Yeah, no problem, Shanshan. Phil EXE has stopped working. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, another thing he could do is if he doesn't have Zenkai 7 Vegeta, is eventually get this guy to 7 stars and Zenkai him. It's a good substitute. Yeah, honestly, Docs, kind of. Um, yeah, Cryptic's like, these teams are bad, I'm aware. Yeah, what I would definitely say is, Cryptic, do you have, by any chance, a blue, like, GT unit of any sort? Like, at least that, so we can at least improve on that end. Do you have, like, a blue GT unit? So basically, definitely this, Cryptic is a returning player, so I just need to figure out how we can work on this, because right now, I'm struggling here a little bit in terms of how to help. You could work on equips for sure. That can definitely improve the team. But the problem is the base units themselves are really hard to fix. One thing you could definitely do is improve this guy's stars. And if you do that, you can then Zenkai awaken him. Super Baby 2, there's another GT in there. Is there? Okay. All right, let me just see if I can find another GT team. Not the same GT. That one's Daksh. Okay, I don't see it right here. Like, here's a good example of where I would use Game Press. So, Cryptic, one thing I would definitely look at is look at Game Press for this particular. If you're using GT, let's go to Team Tier List real quick. Just grab that. And if we were to go to, where are you, GT? GT should be Tier 1. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. So, you might not have these units, but it's a good idea to actually look at this. So, I would definitely recommend, most likely, like, either this core or this core for you. I wouldn't recommend this at all. Now, if you can't do a lot of this, we'll have to do substitutes. GT is a very Zenkai-focused core, as Monkey D. Luffy did say. It's very true. And as a result, GT does suffer from the fact that if you don't have them Zenkai, it's really hard to play them properly. He should summon on Majubin SSJ3 Goku banner. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so Cryptic, one thing I would definitely say is that if you right now haven't pulled, if you want to play GT, I would definitely pull for these two units. If you don't have this guy. If you do have him, then maybe do singles and hope to God you get Majub. Or if you have Nuova, you could do that. It's not perfect, but Nuova is an okay like alternate core substitute. Because I believe they do recommend him as an alternative member. Yeah. Not perfect, but you could use him. Personally speaking, I do like having a double card draw speed over Ice, but Ice is okay. I could send it again you want, but it's basically the same, just a few different units. All right, Cryptic, yeah, please do. Hello, Sifo Mabel, how you doing? Hello, hello. Yeah, I would definitely say that this is something to look at. I can't really rate this, but what I could say is how to improve. So having a change in your core units definitely could help. So yeah, that's what I would say here. Okay, Jiren's an okay powerful opponent unit. You can either use him or Green Goku Black. I'm just right now, like, looking at this and this, it makes more sense to me to drop this dude and put in the health buffer. You could argue that you want to keep him, but I just wonder, considering you have this guy as your choice option, if you like him a lot, then maybe consider changing this to Bojack And if you're doing Bojack, then in that case, maybe changing this to the health buffer. But if you like this Kid Buu and you like this one, I would honestly decide which one do you use more, because depending on which one you use more, I think would fundamentally decide what core red unit you should run on Powerful Opponent. My GT team is called GT. Sounds good, a stranger got you. No, this is a different person. So yeah, I would definitely say if you're running this guy and you like this guy, then this guy is your go-to. If you want to do a mix and match, that's okay. So what you could do is you could still run this guy and then run him and drop this guy for the health buffer. But just be aware that if you do that, then in that case, you are not going to be doing the full buffs that you would normally get from his passives, like his easy ability. So running him along with him grants you a lot more passive buffs than if you were to run these two together. But if your playstyle warrants it, then you could also drop the extra buffs and go with the health buffer. I personally believe that's actually the way to go. But I don't see an actual fundamental issue with this too. It's just that health buffs do allow for more tank. You are adding some health here, though, which I do like. I do see some health buffs, so I guess you could also argue that you don't need it. But having extra health never hurts. It never does. That's the thing. So I'm just wondering, in regards to some of these equips, like, for example, this equip, you can re-roll it right now. The event is right now out, and I would definitely say that having first gold or red slot and then working towards getting more slots that are better would be a good use of your time, whoever you are. So I would do that. And then I would just work on some of these equips, like getting them higher up, because you know. Yeah. But overall, this team is fine. In terms of ability, in terms of like synergy-wise, synergy is there. I could easily give it a 10. It has all the components for a synergetic team. I just think that having a health buff could be relevant, but I think I can, that was more of a team comp situation. In terms of team comp, I can give it 9.5. It's got the synergy, sorry, with the mouse, I should do it. Synergy between these two, just lack of synergy in some cases within itself. So what I would definitely say in regards to that is maybe a health buffer could actually be beneficial here. But regardless, that's just me nitpicking. You could either say 9.5 or 10. I like to say 9.5 because having that health buff allows for more tank ability, and that more tank ability along with your extra health buffs and defensive buffs that I am seeing in this equipment set just means that you have the ability to potentially survive Rising Rush, you have the ability to survive combos, and you have healing properties, which just, heals plus, yeah. You like living. Living is good. All right, so overall, like, yeah, that's what I would say. And then in terms of power, in terms of defense, in terms of everything else, again, I probably would give it like a 9. Just again, it's very strong. You can definitely dodge a lot. It's got a lot of defense. I think a 9 is fair. It's got a lot of tanking. Just, having extra health definitely helps, specifically half corrupted Teletubby Zamasu. So that's just something to keep in mind. Whereas Bojack doesn't necessarily need as much. All right, Rival Universe, real quick. Okay, so the base team is fine for Rival Universe. The base team is fine. My only issue with this Rival Universe base team is that as much as Kaba is a great support for Vados, I just wonder if it's maybe a better use of your time to run Yellow Hit to buff up this Topo and to buff up this Champa, as well as to have Yellow Hit ready in case that there's a lot of endurance units and you need to get rid of them through an RR or just combos or just in general anything. Because there will never be a time where you're going to need to use Kaba. You should probably never bring him in. I know a lot of YouTubers have been doing showcases for Kaba, but those showcases have already indicated to me that he is just generally not worth running on the actual base team. So I have yellow hits, so I can make that change. All right, sounds good. Played when the game came out. I stopped playing for a while before Zenka came out. Fair enough, Cryptic. Yeah. But overall, I don't really see anything problematic with this team. The only actual real problem is that they're all basically 2 stars. So one thing I would definitely say, Cryptic, is that if you are interested in certain teams, try to pick 1 or 2 teams to focus putting stars towards your teams. Because right now, they don't have survivability. Equips are okay. I would say re-roll for this equip. Try to get as much of this equip as possible, because a lot of these units could use them. This one can use it. This guy, I think, can use it, but I have to double check. This guy would not recommend using it anyways, so probably not a good idea. Honestly, I think all of these guys can use it. Let me double check. Oh, wait, wrong one. Let me just double check. What are the conditions for this? Yeah, everyone can use it. Cool. So, yeah, anyone can use this equip. So, as a result, maybe you should consider getting this equip for anyone that is strike focused. Topo is great. If you want to keep Kaba, you can put it on Kaba, although he's blast focused, so I really wouldn't do it. Vados, you could argue it, but I don't think it's necessary. This hit, for sure, do it. Bergamo, absolutely. And then Champa, wouldn't do it, but you can if you want to. I've mainly focused on God Key. I need the stars, and that's what I'm trying to get for them. All right, bet. So overall, good base. I would just say equip focus, like increasing them to S, would be a good next start. Maybe instead of buffing Vados with the Zenkai, you could just put hit on the team. That will enable a little bit more flexibility when you have to decide between Champa and hit, depending on the units that the opponent has. And then increasing base stars would be the next step, realistically. So equips and stars is what I would say. I can't really rate that outside of that. God Key, let's take a look, because this is definitely God Key. We have red, purple, yellow, green, blue. Okay, it looks like it's a mixed bag. That's okay. Let's take a look at what we have here. For ladder, that's fine. But one thing I would definitely say in terms of conflict is that because you're doing such a mixed bag, it makes me wonder how often this team... okay, but half corrupted Teletubby Zamasu has a blue card that is very, very blast oriented. So I guess you could argue that. And then Gogeta Blue can also have a blast orientation. So this is fine, actually, realistically. I don't know. It's fine, yeah. There are certain exceptions to everything. I would say one thing, to try to get your equip stats. Yeah. All right, so... Okay, Vados is there, so you can abuse this. I don't like this equip. I would change it for this equip and awaken it on him. Like this equip on this guy and awaken it. It does the same thing, but more. So there's realistically no reason why this equip should be even used. Fine to me. Outside of that, I don't really have much else to say. Yeah, Monkey D. Luffy's right, and I make the same thing. Investing into one tag for a while will result in really good things. Exactly, 100%. Yeah, so overall, team synergy-wise, I think that I can easily give this, realistically, a 9.5. I think the only reason why I'm docking even half a point is because this equip, just no good. Just replace it with an awakened version of this. Like, this equip, awakened, onto this guy. There's really no reason not to do that. And then if you want to further abuse Vados, instead of this equip, which I understand because people hate hybrids right now, and this also, I think, gives a base health, which is nice. You could also just run this instead of that, and that way you could abuse this more with Vados and his green card. That's also something to keep in mind. This is base health plus health restoration up plus base health. So you can do a switch for more base health restoration. Like, there's a lot that you can do with this. So, yeah, I think 9.5 would be fair. I think this is really the only outlier here, and as a result, it's the only reason why I'm docking a point there. In terms of team comp, I have nothing to say. It's a 10. You could argue that Champa should be on this team, but I actually argue that because there is half-corrupted Zamasu, and because you have Vegito Blue that can easily do either or, that actually at this point, Godjita is a better choice. So yeah, I would definitely say 7-star Godjita on this God Key team. Good pick, 10 out of 10 there. And then finally, in terms of power, it's a 10. I have nothing else to say. I could dock you a point because of this, but I'm not going to because I think even though it's somewhat relevant, it's not relevant enough since equips aren't always going to make the biggest change, even if it's only because of a difference in one equip. So let's take a look at the next one. Vegeta fam. Okay. Angel Vegeta. Good solid start. Then we're going downhill here. Okay, so this red Vegeta needs to be replaced by Coat Vegeta. So I would definitely say if you have Coat Vegeta, use them. This Vegeta, no bueno. It's okay as a green. If you have a better green, I get 2 stars. This Vegeta I feel is underwhelming. So at that point, you could run like even a 2-star green Trunks, and that'd be better. Whereas if they're both at 7 stars, then you could actually argue for this Vegeta, even though green Trunks is also solid, very solid. Purple Vegeta's fine. I think the issue here is that I'm trying to figure out what type of focus this is, and I don't understand the focus because it looks like it's just putting whatever Vegetas you think you have as the best on this team. So I would definitely say if you're strike focused and you don't have anything better, this Vegeta's better. You're looking for blast and you don't have anything better, this guy's better. Coat Vegeta, I feel like needs to be on this team. Actually, I don't feel he needs to be on this team. And this Vegeta is just outdated. Well, Doc, it's not that I'm getting more God Key teams. It's that people have been using God Key for a while now. Like, God Key has been played so much, even before 3rd anniversary. It's just that, you know, a lot of people in the lower ranks like to use other teams. In the higher ranks, I see a lot of God Key. And a lot of hybrids, and a lot of, not as much regen, actually. Regen's not popular, it's just very good. And I see a lot of Saiyans. Some Sun Fam. Overall, I would definitely say that if you don't want to run health buff equips, because this equip is fine, but I would definitely replace them with a rerolled version of them. A lot of this comes down to rerolling, and on top of that, having Coat Vegeta over this guy. That's what I would say. Everything else, if this is the best units you have, would be that everything else is fine. Like, for what it is. I would just say Coat Vegeta needs to be the red unit here. Otherwise, this team feels very lackluster. And even then. If it's my teams, ignore them unless it's my God Key. My other teams will get worked on by the community, but I'm not focused on that now. Sounds good. Please help. This is future. Let's take a look. We got Mai for health buff. Green Goku Black. Trunks. Purple Vegito. Purple. Red. Okay, so there's no yellow. Okay, so there's no yellow, so I guess that's what's going on here. So not having a yellow isn't the end of the world, but it definitely affects the overall gameplay and style. Let's see here. Okay, just based upon these equips alone. You know what's ironic? Okay, so if we go to team tier list, we go to future. Are you kidding me? Fix it. Game press is dead. All right, we're just gonna go over here. Let's go to items. Game press died. It died for our sins. Let's see. So, as you guys can see, this is a fantastic awakened equip that you could use on this team. Just in general, especially like people like him or people like him. You could run that. An awakened version of this. Really, really good. Really, really solid. I can't really say it's bad, you know? Game press died, yeah. But no, seriously, this team could fundamentally use a lot of Game Press's like concept for equips for this team, because right now the equips feel all over the place. And this would be like literally, for me, at least 20 to 30 minute sit down just to fix up these equips. Like, this is fine. I'm okay with this because he's very blast focused, and there are some strike focus on these two, so I get that. But we then get into some situations that I'm just like, well, this feels a little wasted only because it does apply to ults too. It's not too bad, but it's still there. This guy, like, one of the buffs, after a certain amount of timer counts, you don't even have it anymore. And then this one's fine for what it is. This can be awakened. And you could also argue that you could also awaken this same equip onto Goku Black, since they're both future-based. Because all it takes is having a future unit. So any of them can apply this for an awoken equip. But you would then at that point have to work on some of your strike focused base to increase the overall potency of that awokened equip. Because otherwise, just keeping it at its base form is fine, but in that case, you need to apply it again onto this dude. Particularly maybe on this slot, or alternatively this slot. So yeah. In terms of not having a yellow unit, I guess that's fine, but in that case, you really, really, really want to be making sure that whenever you're up against someone that has maybe a focus on a purple unit, to maybe never bring in that green unit, you know? Just food for thought. Food for thought. Goku Black is kind of not going to make his guest appearance too much in that case. Overall, in terms of, I think, team synergy, I feel like I can only give this a 7 max. I feel like it's because of equipment choices that I'm thoroughly confused, and I can't spend 20 minutes going over that. I think that would be more of a community help situation at this point. In regard, I would have to, honestly, I think I would have to, like, go over this entire team on my own time, write an entire excerpt, and then after that explain what equip should go where. That's how I feel when it comes to these equips. In terms of, like, composition, I think this is the best that they have, which is probably why they're saying, please help. So, as a result, I would definitely say, for this particular team, in terms of team comp, I still can give it an 8. It has very solid units. I just feel like, because of its lack of yellow, it's pain, and I understand. I feel their pain. I understand it a lot. Well, and then in terms of power, I can give it like 8. I think a lot of its power and defense come from this unit. Pseudo from this unit for being able to tank an RR, and this guy can actually tank. So that's why. Plus, you got a health buffer, so that helps a lot. So good job. All right, we're moving on, because GT. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so let's begin. Let's talk about this real quick. We'll talk about team comp after. Let's just look at the equips right now. All right. So in terms of team synergy, I'll give it only an 8, and I'll explain in a moment why. So this is going to go in tandem with your team composition. So you have a 6-star Gogeta. Solid. You have a 7-star and Super Android 17. So now your choices are this. Personally, this is what I would do if I were you. I would either get him to Zenkai 7, in which case, if you're getting Super 17 to Zenkai 7, I would personally either drop the Super Saiyan 4 Gogets, or I would just say screw having a yellow unit and just boot out Nuova. Now, if you like having a full color wheel, then in that case, you have to decide, do you want your Legends Limited or do you want to work on your Zenkai 7 Super 17? No matter what you choose, that's up to you. That's a preference in playstyle. Do you like a more offensive or a more passive playstyle? If you're more passive, then I would 100% say that Super 17 is the way to go. Plus, you will be able to take more punishment with Super 17 than you would with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. However, if you do that, then in that case, having a yellow is, I would personally say, a must if you're running the Super 17. Not because he needs a yellow to defend him, but because it is helpful to have. But personally, if you need a yellow to help him, I would argue Majub is better. That's just inevitably true. So, personally, if it were me, this guy would be Zenkai 7. This guy would be here. I would personally run this guy Super 17. This guy is fine to be here. He's more than okay. And I would replace him with Majub if you can get him. If you can't, Nuova I would still keep, only because I like having that full color wheel. And then finally, this guy would get dropped, and I would put a health buffer. And for doing that, then in that case, if you're going to run equips like this, or defensive equips onto your team, your defense equips then can be applied a lot better than on units that only have extra defense, and as a result, the margin of defense increase is actually incremental versus ever expanding. Your overall base health applies it's very applicable to how much defense you actually apply to your units. So just keep that in mind. I barely use Nuova. In that case, if you barely use Nuova, you might want to consider maybe for now replacing Super 17, put a health buffer there, and then, go from there. Just go from there. Okay? So, that's what I would say. Super Saiyan. Let's take a look. We have Gogeta, Bardock. Actually, wait. So, in regards to a stranger, what I would definitely say for your team, in terms of your equips and synergy, I would only give it an 8, and I think a lot of that has to do with in tandem to the composition. Your composition is also, I would say, more or less an 8, and that's because without a health buffer, a lot of your extra defenses kind of get removed. They don't apply as effectively, so that's why. And then in terms of power, you've got power, so I would say it's also about an 8. Just, getting things fully Zenkai'd to Zenkai 7, as well as having that health buffer allow for more tankability, which does apply to your power, because the more defensive pushes you can have, the more offensive counters you can make. So it's just a matter of less mistakes that you can make, the weaker your team. The more mistakes you can make, the better your team, just in tandem with, we're all human, we make mistakes. Should I replace Purple Broly for Z7 Purple Super Saiyan 3? Well, we're about to find out. Okay, so we've got this, no yellow unit, that's fine. Super Saiyans don't necessarily need a yellow unit. Let's take a look at this real quick. Health buffer. Bardock. I question how much this guy gets used, but I guess in a double blue situation, that's okay. You could probably use these 3 for that situation. That's fine. If you can effectively use this guy's green, then in that case, I wouldn't switch him. I think keeping him in here is actually you have a legitimate case to keep him in. Plus, he can really abuse crits just as effectively as any other Super Saiyan, whereas Purple Super Saiyan 3 is not going to do so. And then everything else looks fine. In terms of equips, personally speaking, I'm not sure how much of a fan I am of this equip particularly. Just because he's a very strike-focused unit, and even though you could run some blast, I feel like you could do like a dual blast strike-based equip and not just blast-based. You could also give him that not the hybrids equip, but the equip that gives a cover cut damage to against green units when you have 50% health or less. Because not only can you go into 50% or less and then tank more against greens, but on top of that, you could also heal up because he's got a green card to heal, and then reapply that over time. How effective that is, it's questionable, but it's still something that you can think about. This equip is not bad. It can definitely be applied. Okay. I would definitely say in this particular situation, you could actually apply the cell equip, the one that the Wah Goku, just because he can actually abuse crits because you have Bardock. This is the one team where the cell equip you can actually abuse. So if there's an equip, so like if you wanted to, you could actually replace this equip with that cell equip, only because you can abuse crits. So the fact that you can abuse crits makes a big difference in regards to what this team can do. And so one situation where I would actually argue that that's a very good equip for this team. In terms of synergy-wise, I would give it a 9. I think that this is a solid unit. I don't think that you need to switch it for Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You're new, by the way, Hanan? Can you do mine? My name is Goku. Well, I'll see when we get there. What's it called? It's a good question. Let me just double check. Let me double check. Let me find it real quick. It is called... It's called what? Right here. So it's got base critical. You can also have base defense, which is really good. And then you can have either base strike or special move damage. Whichever one you like, it's fine. I personally like specifically doing the special move. However, sometimes the base strike is actually more worth it. So you could also focus on that either or. And then whichever one where you're lacking or where you want to improve more, you can either do either or. It doesn't really make a difference too much. And then the base critical, just try to get it as close to the 12.5% as you can. All right. But overall, yeah, that's what I would definitely say here. In regards to your team comp, I don't think I can give it lower than a 10. I mean, you could argue that this Borley could be replaced with the Canon Super Saiyan 3 Purple Zenkai 7 Borley. You could also argue that maybe you could replace this guy with that. I mean, it really doesn't make a difference. Super Saiyans is very flexible because all you need to do is put Bardock and a whole bunch of Super Saiyans that are tanky, and that's it. That's all you got to really do. They're kind of a cheat sheet. They're really kind of a cheat sheet. If you can get him, I mean, you could replace this guy, or alternatively, you could replace Nameku. I mean, you could do a lot. You could, here's the thing. If you don't have a yellow unit at all, it depends on how good you are with your green counters. If you are very good with your green counters, then you don't even need to run you don't need to run the Cannon Borley. Whereas if you're not very comfortable with your green counters, your options are to either become exceptional with them in terms of reaction time, or just run the purple Super Saiyan 3, purple Legendary Super Saiyan Borley, Zenkai 7, and then just replace this new free-to-play Borley, so that way you have access to a pseudo-yellow, as well as a yellow neutral, so that way whenever you're up against, other purples, you can just push right through them, and not worry about, let's say, having a purple that can get wrecked by a yellow. If you like Nameku's bench, then you don't have to replace him. In that case, consider whether or not you like more blast armor or you like more counters, like barrier counters. That's all you have to figure out. Overall, I think this is a solid team. I think those are the legitimate changes that I would make. That's pretty much it. I personally use Super Vegeta on the bench of Super Saiyans. I do too, Monkey, but at the same time, it also depends on stars, right? If you've got only like 3 stars or 4 stars or 5 stars, it's not really worth it. Whereas if you have 6 stars on it, then yes, I would definitely run them. Because Super Saiyans at 6 stars usually run a lot of movie characters. So Super Vegeta really buffs that, whereas Nameku is good and all, but Bardock doesn't really need the Zenkai buff. And Raditz is also good. So realistically, you can do a mix and match. I think Raditz and Nameku are more than okay. Or you could do Raditz and Super Vegeta. Or you could do Nameku and Super Vegeta. But in that case, you would probably want health buffers as some of your equips. Personally. And if you do that, that can also work. So NXRJ, you have a lot to juggle with because you can do a lot. There's a lot of open-ended things that you can do with your team. So just pointing that out there. So let me do this one more time. You can do Raditz and Super Vegeta. You can do Raditz and Nameku. Or you can do Nameku and Super Vegeta. But in that case, health buff equips on a couple of units, like the lower-end health-based units, could really, really benefit from that. So I hope that helps. All right, Space Monkey, let's go. Why does this not have a green unit? Where's green metal cooler? Or even the golden Frieza? Like, golden Frieza's a reach, but where's either or? Like, this EX yellow Frieza second form is not bad. Like, don't get me wrong. But this guy is 100% better. And even then, this guy honestly works better on Frieza Force, ironically, than he does on LOE. And that's saying something. So, I'm just struggling here. Because it's not a bad team per se, but there's so many things where it could be improved immensely. Oh no. Oh no. Wait. Green metal cooler is only 3 stars. Okay. Then work on him. Where is it? Where is that equip? Question, Zephyr. Question for you failure. Do you have strike attack? Or do you have strike defense equipped? Which one do you have equipped? Which one? What is the base last stat? Is it strike attack or is it strike defense? I need to know. Zephyr, I need to know this. What is the base buff for your 3rd slot on you failure? I need to know this. Strike attack. Okay. If it's strike attack, get rid of this equip 100%. Just get rid of it. The equip is bugged and it really represents you failure and why PyCon is trash because this right now, the way the game works, buffs 0. Nada. Nothing. There is no difference between not having this equipped when you attack versus when you are attacking with this. Yeah, the last stat for the equip is glitched when using strike attack. It is not glitched when you use strike defense, however. I have tested that. Strike defense is applied. But if you're doing strike attack, it is 0%. Yes. So do not run the equip if you're doing strike attack. It is a waste. You are killing your unit. Because right now they have messed it up royally. It is literally why I am going to be staunchly saying that you failure is a failure, and it just makes your team a failure. There's a lot of failure going around, and it's very relevant that Pycon's face is there. I saw it on Reddit too, so I wanted to test it. And then I tested it, and then I was like, oh shoot, it doesn't work. And yeah, get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's killing your cooler by a little bit. So, yeah, overall, I would say things like green meta cooler replaces this guy. I replaced it with no way. Boom. Nice. Otherwise, not bad. At S, okay, sounds good. Let me just double check something. What is the condition for specific awakened equips? Where are you? Let me just find it real quick. There we go. This is the one. What is the options? Frieza Force, Lineage of Evil. Okay, so there's a double criteria. No, actually, it's a single criteria. It's either or. Okay, sounds good, sounds good. If it's an either or specific situation, then pretty much anyone can run this. Which means you should probably just awaken this. You should probably just awaken this. You should probably just awaken all of it. Just awaken. Awaken. A lot of awakening. And then, not much else to say. Yeah, green cooler. Green metal cooler is a better option than this guy. Work on him. Do that. What else? I mean, so I'm kind of confused. Which equipment should I remove? F or E? Because I got so many of them. Both. F, E, bad. Minimum is D. Minimum that you should keep is a D. And personally, I say that if it's not C or up, it's no good. So like C is the one that you want to get, realistically. D is only if you're willing to settle. E and F, no bueno, get rid of. Just get rid of. E, F, bad. I'm waiting for tomorrow since it's the weekend. Sounds good, Zephyr. Overall, Zephyr, I'm not going to really rate this team too much, only because there's a lot of things that I feel like I would have to talk about. I would definitely say just fundamentally what you need to do, replace, and then awaken, and then you replace, so good, and then maybe work on this to get it to at least S. And this one as well, right? And then work through that. All right, so where should I put health buff Goku? Alrighty, let's take a look at this. You have health. I see. Personally speaking, like if I'm looking at this and I'm deciding where should you do this, I'm not going to rate it as much as I'm just going to help you out with these questions. So where should I put health buff Goku? If you're running these particular equips that I'm seeing right here, you could actually argue that you don't even need a God Coup. You could argue that God Coup is not needed. However, if you really want that health buff, and I can understand you wanting it, then in that case, I would most likely remove this Vegeta, and then just put God Coup right there. Just put him right there. And then reap the benefits. Realistically, the only one that needs the extra buffs is Clap Coup, because you want Clap Coup to not only survive combos, but rising rushes. You want him to survive everything. He needs to be the one taking the most punishment out of everybody. Clap Coup is the punishment abuse man. He's the guy that you want punished all the time if you have to punish someone. Any tips on how to get lots of Chrono Crystals so I can do banners to get cracked players? Hanan, I could basically I'll make a video guide on that. I'll make a video guide. So guys, I will make a Chrono Crystal guide for how to get Chrono Crystals. I know I made a stream, but I can... Yeah, I have it on my list. I have 18 different, like, things that I have for video ideas. And one of them is how to farm tons of CC. So I will get on that. So be on the lookout for a guide for how to get tons of CC. Okay? Okay. Yeah, so overall, I would definitely say remove this Vegeta, put a health buffer. And then, yeah. Other than that, I don't actually see a reason to... Like, you could also argue you don't need this guy at all. Especially since you only got him at 2 stars. I would say the equip almost fundamentally is a decent substitute. If he was at 6 stars, however, or 3 stars, then I could definitely say that maybe you could run him, and in that case, get rid of God Vegeta, and then just place a team. Make a team with the Goku, the Godku, and put in the Vados. So, yeah, I think that's how I can help you. So, Doc, I hope that helps. All right, this is a new and improved, I think, Vegeta fam team. Okay, so we got Beautiful. All right. All right, this looks like Mike's. This is Mike's team, I think. Yeah, so this is a better improvement. As much as I like SSBE, Vegeta, because he's actually a solid unit and can definitely help out, especially if your opponent has a red unit on their team. It allows you to not have to run Majin Vegeta at every single moment, but at the same time, Majin Vegeta is really good, so I don't know why you wouldn't run it while I'm running. You know, just do that. So, you know. But yeah, so you have options here, and the health buffer definitely helps. Having the extra defense also helps, because with the health buff comes extra defense, so this guy can actually start to tank even more so than before. It allows you to apply this so much better along with these. There's just so much more variety now, especially with double health. This guy is actually a tank of a unit, so that's awesome. Yeah, this is really good. I have nothing to say about this. This is much more improved. Good job. Do you have a video on how to farm to get rare metals, so I can upgrade my Goku, so I can beat the co-op Frieza, so I can ultra Goku because he's a crazy unit? Sure, I can make a how to farm rare metals, or where to get rare metals. I can definitely do that. I think I did do a rant that also covers where you can find rare metals, so I did do a video like that, Hanan, but the thing is, it's a much more rant-based of me pointing out where you can find it, and me ranting about why rare metals are hard to find. But I can also make a re-update, because I think now we can definitely do an update where you can find rare metals and how to farm it effectively, so I can definitely do that too. So let me write that down. Okay. There you go. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. Super Sai. Super what the frig? This is God Key. Okay, cool. I was trying to figure out what this was, but then I understand now. I get it. I understand. I've figured out the algorithm. Okay, so let's see what you gots to do. Okay, so first things first. When it comes to this equip, I hope that this Zamasu is always being ran in tandem to this yellow Vegeta. There should never be a point in time where your yellow Vegeta is not present alongside half-corrupted Zamasu, because this guy will only get his buffs while they're both on the field, because he needs a yellow to get the defense that he gets. Is the new Vegeta LF good or bad? Should I waste my CC on him, or should I wait? Knight 117 depends on your team. What is your main team? That will dictate whether you should get him or not. What is your main team? You need to let me know. Okay. And Hanan, I will answer that question in a bit. Alrighty. Equip-wise, let's just take a look real quick. Got a health buffer. I don't like this. Get rid of this equip. No health buffer. That can hurt Vados. I don't like this equip, really. It locks your Zamasu. I don't like locking him. you don't want to lock him. So 1, honestly, either that one or that one. Personally, I would get rid of this one. So I'd cut these 2, cut that one. This is fine. Fine. And this is fine, I guess. You'd also cut one of these, particularly this one. Or, actually, no, this has a health buff, so that's fine. You can keep that. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, cut. And then that should be fine for the most part. I think the only issue at this point is that, I mean, if you're running this guy anyways, you could just cut him out entirely and put a health buffer, like a full-on health buffer. Or alternatively, maybe you should just focus on this guy and cut this guy entirely, in which case you could put a health buffer right here. I mean, that's really up to the player at this point. In terms of composition, I mean, realistically, I wouldn't run him as much. But if you really want him to be on the team, which is totally acceptable, then in that case, I probably wouldn't run this Vegito. You can run him, but at 3 stars, I just feel like you'd get better value out of this guy. And on top of that, him alongside him is usually a better mix than him with him. So it's just a matter of there's a lot more synergy to be had when you're running this guy in tandem to him than these two. So the Vegito Blue and this guy. So personally, I would cut this guy out entirely, put a health buffer, and then put this guy to Zenkai 7. There's really no reason not to have him at Zenkai 7. Do you know where the gift section is now? I can't find it. Yes, I do. So here, Sharps, here's what I'm going to do. Let me go to Air Server real quick. Let me just pull up my phone. So in the home screen. So if you go to the home screen. So go to home screen at the top. At the top of your home screen, there will be the present section. So let me just open it up real quick for you guys. So let me just do that real quick. Let me just pull this up real quick so you guys can see it. I'll just pull it up. You don't need to see everything. You just need to see the thing. So Sharps, I got you. Home screen, top at the top, very top. What's our server? It's a stream. It's a way to stream. All right. So let me just pull that up real fast. Yeah. So Soft says go home top right. So let me just show you so you can physically see it, but just to give you an idea. Loading. There we go. Presents right here. Click on that. You'll see your presents. You'll see everything. You'll be able to grab it. So there you go. Sharps. That's how you do it. Hello, Phil. How are you? Can you show us a good God Key team of yours with their equipments on? I want to build a good team, but I don't know how I have God Key units. I mean, for example, I don't need to even show you my team. I can just show you other people's team because I don't have the best team for God Key. I do not main God Key. So I wouldn't be the one to really show that. I could give you an idea, but I couldn't actually build it properly. That's because I don't care for God Key. That's why. So MDM, what I would definitely say is, yeah, here's an okay look at God Key. Actually, here's a great example of God Key. This is one example of God Key that's really good. That's not God Key. That's not God Key. That's not God Key. So here's a good example of a strike-based God Key team. If you're looking for a God Key team. This one's an okay version. And then as for equips, I wouldn't be able to be the one to show you equips, only because I don't actually have good equips for God Key. So me trying to show off God Key is a bad idea. I can just show you the units. That's about it. So I can show you both Blast, a Mixed, and a Strike-focused. Overall, I think that this team could just benefit from dropping Vegito Blue, putting a health unit. I'm only being a little bit more picky about health units nowadays is because with the advent of so much Strike and Blast potential, health is so much more important than it used to be. So just pointing that out there, guys. I used to be a very staunch, denier of health buffs until recently. Health buffs have changed the scope of the meta because of how much there's an increase in damage, but there's not enough increase in defense. Phil, Vegeta only there until I get GB. Okay, cool. You get GB, then in that case, you could argue that this guy can stay, but even at 3 stars, he's better. All right, what to say about this? Not much to say. This looks exactly as I would see a strike-oriented based God Key team. It's terrifying. Vegito Blue is stacked out of his mind. He's got a Zenkai buff to boot. He's got Gogeta Blue to bail him out with some health buffs. He's got defense like it's nobody's business. Although I would argue, don't run this equip. Reason for it is because you're most likely going to run Vados in tandem, and you're not getting the full buffs otherwise. So actually drop this equip, find a better equip for this UI. There's no reason to run this equip on a God Key team, unless you are planning somehow to only run these three at all times, which I doubt is going to be the situation. Or sometimes you're not going to run UI, that's fine. You might run these two and then this, or him. But if you ever run this guy, you are literally locked to just these two, and that's bad. So you don't want to do that, so replace this equip just in general. Find something more generic. Everything else looks, generally speaking, fine. Hanan says, wait, how do I put... I thought he was searching us up on a searcher. No. No, I am going on Rate My Team, and I'm looking at your stuff through here. Okay, so we're going to pick this up. Pick this up. And then pick these up. And then this will be the last teams that I look at for this week. So that means in 2 weeks, we'll do another Rate My Team. Next Friday is going to be... whatchamacallit. It's not a Rate My Team, it's going to be Praise Your Team, or just like, toast your team. Because I did roast you guys a while back, and I feel like when I roasted you guys, I feel like I should give back some good karma now. So yeah. Overall, I think this is a equip that should be changed. You could argue that you could replace this equip with something like Romantic Drive, just something to give her a little bit more defense. You could also consider finding some health buffs instead that could increase her overall health, because you don't really actually have a health buffer on the team. So applying a health buffer on her could actually be very, very beneficial. And then otherwise, this is team. I don't really have much else to say. Just get rid of this equip. Maybe replace this equip or this equip with a health buffer or like a status boost buffer and a health buffer, and make those changes. And that's it. That's all you got to do. And then you're pretty much solid and good to go and ready to mess things up. All right, Cancer, let's go. 6-star. You have a red slot on the first one? Lucky you. I can't find that for the life of me. All right. I mean, this is fine. I don't really have much else to say. I personally never use this guy because he's a good kid, Goten, but he's like, he's only as good as the opponent not knowing how to play against it. Like, one thing to note is that if that Goten hits you with a blue card, he has Vanish Gauge again, so that's really annoying. He's very strong. I have nothing really bad to say about this team. I mean, personally speaking, I prefer the other yellow Gohan. I mean, yeah, the Gohan, the LF, but at the same time, he's more than acceptable. He's a great substitute, and honestly, probably the second best yellow that hybrids have. This is in regards to what you prefer as your gameplay. If you like a death buff unit, then this is a fantastic unit to keep on the team. If you like more tank, then EX Gohan is fantastic for that. The Zenkai 7. He is fantastic too. He is very solid. You could also argue you could use the other Gohan, the Zenkai 7 Gohan, but if you like this one more, that's perfectly acceptable. And then he is the core red unit. So yeah, there's not much else to really say. I don't really have much to say about this, other than these are cursed equips because they're green and S. All green and S. And lucky you for this one. One thing you could do is if you want to run double purple, I believe this equip works on Goten too. So if I find it, yeah, it works on Goten too. So one thing I could definitely say is that this equip specifically works even better on this kid than it does on this kid. Only because he doesn't heal himself with his main ability, but he heals everyone else. So if let's say you're running this kid with this kid, and you have, let's say, I don't know, personally, you could replace this equip or this equip. I don't really care which one you do. And then put this equip on there, do the same thing. You have a health restoration up, so you heal more. You have base strike attack and blast defense. You also have base blast attack that also goes up insane. Goten could easily abuse that with either or of these equips, so whichever one you feel is the better one to replace, do that. That's fine. And yeah, you can just really abuse this equip more so on this kid than on this kid, and this kid already abuses this equip pretty well. Six-star revival Gohan. Yep. So I want to get the future equip on the green trunks. Fair enough. To S or Z. So yeah. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, so yeah, Monkey D. Luffy, that's the one thing. And then obviously get him to Zenkai 7 when you get there. Because being able to abuse this equip is really good, and there's really no reason for Goten not to do that. Because if you ever choose to run Goten for whatever reason over this, or put them in tandem, you just have so much more abuse you have so much more to work with, realistically. And then in regards to this guy, if you are running this Goten, I believe he's a ranged unit, right? So let me just double check that. He is range type. Perfect. So if you ever choose, for whatever reason, to run, let's say, purple, red, okay? Let's say, for whatever reason, that is an actual matchup, stylistic matchup. You could, as well, take this equip, awaken it, replace this equip on this Gohan, and now you have also defensive properties as well as offensive properties for this Gohan. He's a much better tank. He can work well with this as he tanks. This one's a revive. You can do that. And all of a sudden, now you have a purple, red that is very, very insane. In the situation that you don't have that, he's also a ranged unit, I believe. Let me just double check real quick, because I'm not entirely sure. So I don't want you to quote me on that one. Not that one. Oops. Just click on that, because I know that works on that boy. Or no, it doesn't. All right, because it's hybrid sun, and if okay, that one. There we go. He is range type, yeah. So also this guy works in tandem, so you can also put the blue and the red for extra defense. If you're wondering which one I'm referring to, excuse me. It is. Where are you? There we go. This awakened, because it's base strike defense, base blast attack. It's base blast defense, and then base blast attack when style ranged, or you can do strike defense for battle defense style member. I prefer this for him because you already have a lot of defense, especially if you are also running all of these equips. So yeah, that's one thing. Another thing you can do, Monkey D. Luffy. Overall, everything else is fine. Good substitute for a yellow. Good strong death buff unit if you don't want to run another tank. So that's totally fine. Overall, nothing else to say. Everything else looks fine to me. Everything else looks solid. At that point, it's just a Zenkai 7 this unit. Maybe put some more stars on him over time. Same thing with these units. When you can, of course. Especially this one. But this one's harder because, you know, Legends Limited. And yeah. Overall, solid team. I don't even need to feel like I need to rate this, because other than those minor changes, not much else to actually do. It's solid. It is a solid team. One thing you could argue is that maybe you just want an overall hybrids buffer, but I think that if you can have access to this, you might as well. Or you could just run a health buff unit for your team, which could also apply a lot of health, extra health for them, but it's debatable for hybrids specifically. Hybrids have a lot of flexibility, so a health buffer isn't actually needed all the time. So yeah, it really just depends. Let me just find the Awaken for this. I want to double check what the Awaken status for this was. It was Future. And how many Future units do you have? You have 1, 2. 2 Future units that could run that equip. So you could also argue that this unit could run the Awaken version of this. And yeah. Yep. But actually I wouldn't do it. No, I wouldn't do that. You don't have enough Future units to make that worth it. So no, keep it at base. Keep it at base. Never mind. I retract that last one. You don't need to Awaken this at all. Overall, good job. All right, let's see. We got movies. So we have 7-star Gokua. So we're almost at that 9-star range where he becomes a massive insane. Waiting for Phil to give an opinion of it though. Man, I should work on my trunks. Oh, the rest of the team is it. Wait, okay, wait. For what though, Richa? Are we referring to green trunks or blue trunks? And in which case, what are we replacing it with, or what are we replacing with it? So just be a little bit specific in the chat so I can help you out there. Okay. Blue, red, purple, green, no yellow. What yellow units could you use on this particular team? Valk, I'm pretty good. How you doing? Green Trunks, he's 5 stars. Yeah, I would definitely say work him onto 6 at least. And then, yeah, I personally think that the green trunks, the death buff trunks, is solid, especially on hybrids, or movies even. You can do either or. It's up to you. So, it's your call on that, but I would definitely get him to 6. He's a solid green hybrid unit if you prefer death buffs for your team. If you don't care about that as much, you could always run the Zenkai 7 EX Gohan, as he's a fantastic tank, and he does very well in regards to helping out your team as well. So, and he's also a health buffer, like a health team buffer, so he can help you with your health restoration. So if you're running this equip, you can just heal up a bit more than you normally would. Sounds good, Monkey. Got you. In terms of this, I have a 12-star EX Gohan. Should I use him over the green trunks? Personally, I think it's a stylistic choice. If you find yourself liking the death buffs, if you're finding yourself that you can actually use your use your SP trunks to heal up with his passive, if you find that he's overall doing decent damage and he's working in tandem with the rest of your team, I see no reason to switch it. The only reason why you could switch is if you prefer the tank and if you prefer the EX Gohan giving a heal, team-wide heal, as well as being able to abuse, particularly this equip, or any other equip that has health restoration. So if you don't see that as absolutely necessary outside of the scope of your general units, no need to switch. All right, take care, Roar. Have a great day, okay? Or night, actually. Good night, Roar. Go to bed. Yeah, but in regards to this team, I'm trying to figure out a solid yellow for movies. What's a solid yellow for movies, people? I gotta remember. Go to characters again. Yellow? Just look at some of these. See some movies. I know Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Gogeta is a yellow and is a movie team unit. Turles is also a decent movie team unit. Not my ideal, but he's a good substitute. Bleh, no. Absolutely not. You could also run the God Vegeta, as in the Zenkai 7. Not my favorite either, but a decent substitute. You could run Zangia. She's a solid unit. But she's more blast focused, I believe. It really doesn't matter. It depends on the stars, right? So like if you have Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan God Vegeta, then you could run it over the Zenkai 7 Vegeta, but this guy's also solid, personally. Like, he's a good substitute, if not also a good replacement. It just depends on what you're looking for, because I believe he buffs God Ki. He doesn't actually buff, yeah, he buffs God Ki. So it depends on how much synergy you want, right? Red Hercule's the best yellow movies. Yeah, absolutely, you're right. Whereas this guy is, let me just double check, because I don't remember. Oh, yeah, Saga's God Ki Fusion Warrior. Yeah, okay, but let's say 6 stars, because I think that's a fair. And he buffs Sagas from 2 stars or up. I don't know. Personally speaking, it depends on how much stars are important to you. If stars are not very important, I would probably just drop either Metal Cooler or this Trunks, and then go from there. This guy can easily get, like, awoken to Zenkai 7, so there's no reason to replace him. So either this one or this one. Depends on their which one you value more, and go from there. Otherwise, everything else looks fine to me. So, yeah. That I didn't need that much of a review or rating. It's almost the same as last time, and I'm working on it, but I had some questions written in the text above. I answered those questions specifically, Docs. I answered those questions specifically. I didn't even rate your team as much as I answered them. Honestly, I won't run a yellow until I get Gogeta Blue, lol. Oh, okay, so you don't have Gogeta Blue. So you're just using... Okay, so you're only using the first 3? Okay, fair enough then. Cool. Okay, yeah. Cool. Nice to know. But if you get Gogeta Blue, definitely use it. I would also say if you can get him to Zenkai 7, you can actually start using your greens. So, you know, something else to look at. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, future. Hi, Blue Jay. I love you. Docs, when the VOD comes out, skip to find you. I explained what to do. I explained everything. I was very detailed. All right, so. Probably, Docs. Probably. That's probably what happened. All right, so when I'm looking at this could definitely be awokened. All right, so it's all future, so this should definitely be awokened. Yeah, a lot of this could be awokened easily. It's actually so good to just awaken this. Oh my god. Especially if you focus on strike, then in that case, if the rest of your stuff is strike focused, then in that case, awakening that is just actually bonkers, and you should just do it. Personally speaking, I would drop this Zamasu. If you want to run him as your blue of choice, that's fine, but drop the Zamasu. Probably put in a health buffer, honestly. This team needs a health buffer. It won't survive without a health buffer. Like, if you run the Zamasu over this Rose, you could do the opposite. You could replace him and put in a health buffer still. My only issue is that there's a lot of low stars, so it makes it very problematic. On top of that, you are running this equip. I hate it. Get rid of it. Sucks. Poo-poo. Bye-bye. Out of here. Just yeet it. Yeet it. Yeet it. Yeet this one too. Yeet both of these. Get rid of them. Like, you could run... Where is the Rose equip? He would, like, abuse the Rose equip. Where is... Okay, one second, guys. Let me just point this out. Items. Equipment. This one. Where this be at? Where this be at? Where? Who else can use it? Future, powerful opponent, perfect. Where it be at? Where is this? Him? I mean, hell, I think even he can, yeah, even he can use it. He can use it too. Oh my gosh. Where is it? Where is this? Interesting. Overall, okay, if I were to rank this, in terms of synergy, I can only give it a 6. I think it's lacking a lot, and it reflects in its ability bonus. A health buffer would greatly benefit this team, depending on which one you use. You drop one of the two. I personally think that at this point, this unit is much more relevant, because there's a lot of endurance units out there, as well as revival, although this guy can't really abuse revival. If you like playing the long game, though, then in that case, this guy is the better unit to use, and you could probably just drop him altogether. Stars become an issue. I would definitely say that this Goku Black needs to be actually buffed up, because 3-star Goku Black is solid, but, you know, the more stars you have, the better you tank. And, Personally speaking, if it were me, I'd probably just drop the Zamasu, despite knowing that he's probably your tankiest unit. So there's a lot of issues. So again, awaken some of these equips, especially if you're going to focus on strike anyways, then in that case, you should awaken these equips and focus on your other equips to buff strike as well. And then that should allow you to break your strike attack, which is what you want. Exactly. Monkey D. Luffy. Absolutely. You do want Mai for the health buff because, I mean, low stats anyways, low stars. You might as well give the stat buff that they deserve so that way they can actually take a hit. And that's what I would say. I don't think I can rate it any further because I feel like power, sure, you probably have power, but your defense is lacking. And then in terms of team comp is fine, but again, a health buffer would greatly be beneficial. All right. Cinema. This is definitely... movies. Oh my god. This is Roar. This is 100% Roar. This is Beto. Beto as a classic. I mean, this guy's a Chad, so I guess this works out. So, Roar, since it's you, this Beto is perfect. I mean, I'm looking at this level 118, and I am saying that, like, that's the most broken stat out there of all time. Oh man, dude, this is hilarious. Oh my god. Yeah. No, I mean, for a movies team, for what it is, I mean, fair enough. I would honestly say if you have God Vegeta, replace the Borley, but if you are absolutely adamant that you want Fem Borley on your team, then keep him. He definitely buffs a lot of these units anyways with his powerful opponent tag, with their powerful opponent tags, so that's okay. You could honestly argue that this is also kind of like powerful opponents, so I mean, that works too. Bulging biceps, exactly! Like, you look at that and you're like, so much more manly than Fem Borley. Yeah. I hope that this is strike defense. So Roar, if this is not strike defense, get rid of this equip entirely. The base strike attack is bugged. So get rid of it. And yeah, that's what I would say. Super Salad. This is also Roar. We have a health buffer slash his pick for purple, and I know why he's picking that one for purple. It's because his Super Saiyan 4 Goku is, I don't think, Zenkai'd at all. So, no! What is this friendship BS that I'm seeing here? Get rid of this. I don't care, Roar. Do not hurt me. Get rid of this. What is this, Garbo? Get rid of it. What are you doing to me? Where is your GT equips? Dude, you have access to the GT... Wait, did you not farm the GT equip? Bruh. Your GT is sad. It is a sad unit. You don't even use GT, do you? You know what, Roar? You don't even use GT. I've made up my mind. You don't even really use GT. You're just making it for the sake of making me look at it. You know, you've duped me. You duped me, bud. You've duped me so bad. God. Should I even rate this? I'm going through a lot of emotions right now, people. A lot of emotions. I feel... Huh. You've broken me. Roar, you have broken me. Alright. Let's do some quick fixes. If you have the GT plat equip, put it on, like, literally almost every unit here. Get them to 5,000. I don't want to hear any lazy stuff about, like, I'll get there eventually. Just do it. Get rid of this equip. And, get rid of this, and actually, I don't know, do something more constructive than a base this equip. No. At least S on this, come on. At least S, come on, don't hurt me. And that would be it. Alright, let's take a look at this. God Key. No problem, Docs. I got you. All right, so we got a Godku, which buffs the blue Vegetos. We got 2-star UI. Interesting. Do you have SSBE? I mean SSB of Vegito. If you have SSB Vegito, I would replace him at this point. Where's Vados? Where's Vados? Why is Vados not here? No, get rid of this dude. No Vados, no bueno. Replace Vados for Vados. This is fine. It's fine. It's fine, I guess. 2 stars, still fine though. Zenkai buff is fine. I'll do Vegito Blue. I'll do Vados. And then the rest is fine. You don't even need a yellow if you don't want it. Realistically though, if it were me, I'd probably replace this unit and then get a yellow unit. Because you look like you want to be very strike focused anyways. In which case, having like God Vegeta, like the Zenkai 7 yellow God Vegeta, or alternatively, and primarily the Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta would be better. So there you go. And then fusions. Okay, this is fusions. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm starting to suspect that this person does not have Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. Vegeta's toes, the purple one. I don't like boob does. Oh my god, Link plays. But Vados would literally help your team. Would literally help your team. Your team would be so happy with a Vados on it. It'd be just happy. It would thank you. It would say, thank you, Link. Wait. Monkey D. Luffy says, can I send my Sun Fam team to you? I think it has a bit of a problem and I need your help. Sure. Absolutely. She's only 3 stars? Work on her. I mean, your UI is only 2 stars. Only 2 stars. And you don't have Vegeta's toes. Put Vegeta's toes on the team. UI is 2 stars. Vados is 3. I don't see a problem. You're running a 2-star UI. You know? but Link. Vados helps your team over the course of time. The more you switch, the stronger your team gets. The more healing you do, the longer you live. Just have him there for buff. I see. So you don't even really have a purple. There's a lot of things that you want to do with your God Key. Because your God Key right now, as it is, kind of has a cap, ceiling cap. Vados allows you to push that ceiling cap. Plus, it allows you to live for a lot longer. God Key needs that longevity, especially if you are running a strike-focused team, because they need ways to keep on going when maybe a teammate goes down, or alternatively, so that way they have actual passive buffs in case Vados goes down. Because once Vados goes down, their time is numbered. And when they start off with 0 Vados, they only have their base, whatever base passives they have, and that's it. Whereas if you're up against another God Key team, and they have God Vados, they have Disruption, they have Healing, they have buffs. They also have a lot of Vados' green card that can also really mess you over while also decrease their substitution count. There's just so much that you can do with Vados. She's a very tricky unit to deal with, even if she's got low base health. And also, one last thing. You say you don't like Boobdos. Yet you got Boobla. Boobla is here. If you don't like boobs, then you shouldn't run the Whims. This female is here. I see a female right here. This is a female. Unless you're saying you like Kafla. If you like Kafla, then you're anti-green people. Just being so extra at this point. All right, when I'm looking at this, let's take a look. We got Vegetos. All right, so this kind of makes sense. You got a health buffer. That's okay. You don't have a yellow, actually, to use. I guess that's fine in general. There's not much I can really say about that. Your lack of yellow is obviously a big downer here. But at the same time, like, I get it. One thing I'm definitely wondering is, would you benefit more with the Zenkai 7 Super Gogeta? And I would say yes. You're forced user. I'm assuming you don't have the Zenkai 7 Super Gogeta then at all. Cool. Overall, I think a lot of things that you could work on is just equips, like getting this to S, getting these up to S. This is fine. Okay. I would maybe work on this to get to S. I maybe would replace this with something that can cover cut for greens. So like, what specifically? Red Goji. I know. Where is it? Where is that little Shet equip? This one. You could use this, of course, which could replace this. I understand that you like the strike based, but I just wonder how much more you could actually get off of using this stuff, especially when it comes down to like having a last stand unit. Because it could actually give you a reason to have Vegito Blue be your last stand unit in general. And him as a last stand unit on like a fusion based team seems mandatory since you do not have Red Gogeta at all. So yeah, I would definitely do that. Whereas if you run this equip, if you're up against a green unit, it looks pretty dire for you. So just, keep that in mind when you're looking at this, because you are getting buffs for this guy for defense and strike, as well as a health buff. So there's a real good argument for actually running this equip over either this equip or this equip. If you like this equip a lot, then I would just replace this one straight up. You just auto-equip. Don't auto-equip, dude. Auto-equip is exactly why you have issues, fundamentally. Like, your team fundamentally has issues because you are auto-equipping. Yo, Speedster, I see you there. No, I remember you. Yo, how you doing? It's nice to see you after a while. Hey. You searched me up on YouTube? What did you search me up as? Like, did you search me up as the Saitama Project, or did you search me up as Phil G? Like, I'm just wondering, because I used to call myself the Saitama Project, right? Yo, it's nice to see you again. But yeah, that's what I would do in regards to, like, the one or the other. Why do people run the Battle of the Saiyans defense equip? Are you referring to... Which one are you referring to, Monkey D. Luffy? On which unit is that? Because I don't know their names by heart. I just know the equips themselves. Let me see if I can search it. So, okay. And you found my channel through that? I mean, nice. I refuse to farm equip. You don't have to farm them, but I would like you to just grab one, because you don't have to farm it. Link. All you gotta do is pick one up. You don't have to farm at all. You can find this in the exchange shop. You find this in the exchange shop, you just pick one up, work with whatever you got. If you want to do. But I mean, you get better by getting better equips. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. But I've been great, thank you. The red Vegito base. Ah, you mean this one? Alright. Battle of Saiyans. So the reason why people run this, Monkey D... so yeah. The reason why people run this specifically, so let me explain this very, very simply. So the base strike defense is really solid. 18% potential is really good, especially since the percentage rate for the gold slot rating is a lot higher than a lot other equips. So that's nice. Another reason why we run it is because of base health. So if you don't want to run a base health unit, like a base health buffer, this is a great equip for that. And then on top of that, this is applied every single time for 15 timer counts when faced with a Saiyan unit. So each time Saiyan unit pops in, that second slot triggers. So it's not just for 15 timer counts at the start of the battle, it's every single time a switch-in happens. Alright, bet. Yo, Speedster's nice to see. Run it because it's auto-put. Yeah, Link, one thing I would definitely say is auto-placement of equips is exactly why there's a limit cap to how good your teams can be. So yeah, Monkey D. Luffy, the reason why we run this is because every single time you're faced, one of these two apply depending on which one you've picked, right? So that means you actually have the ability to have better tanking ability, especially if, let's say, you're doing base strike defense, then in that case, you probably want to farm for strike defense here. And then in that case, you're able to apply this with this with your base health, and you take less damage for 15 timer counts as soon as they switch. So it's really good as a counter if, let's say, you're running it on a fusions unit, and then all of a sudden, Super Saiyan 3 LF Ku comes in, and you're like, well, okay, at least I have some defense, so I can try to out them in the neutral battle. No. Yeah. I get it now. Yeah, and that's why people run it, because it's not actually a bad equip. It looks bad on paper, but in application, it's actually a lot better. Okay? But overall, yeah, that's what I would say about this team. All right, we got Valk. And then, let's see. God Key 2. All right, so I can see what this is going for. It's going for, like, boosts. It looks like this is the team. Okay, Abuse. I like Abuse. I would actually, one thing to say, if you could get a second a copy of this equip and replace it here, that would be fantastic, Valk. That would be such a good idea. Another thing I would definitely say is, as much as I like the triple Zenkai buff, it's not necessary. The one that I think could actually use no Zenkai buff is Vados. So what I would do here is I would drop Beerus, put the red Godku, get extra health buffs, be able to abuse the equips more. It's not perfect. It's still not ideal as a God Key team, but there is a overall arching theme in regards to what you're trying to apply, and I could better get behind that. But I get what you're going with here. I just think that having a full health buffer on top of health push is nice. Okay, and that's that. All right, and then Monkey D. Luffy, you said you wanted to get a specific, what was it, Saiyans or was it Sunfam? Was it Sunfam? Just show me your Sunfam team. If you show me your Sunfam team, I can help you out. Then I'm going to stop the stream for today. This is, so this is a blue color counter team. I mean, for what it is, it's good. I would definitely say apply equips onto this android, though. You could do that. It wouldn't hurt you to do it. I mean, awaken this when you can. Because even a base A awakened of this equip is better than the S version for Nameku. Everything else seems fine to me. I'll send it now. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good, Valk. So yeah, that's what I would say for Battle of Saiyans, specifically. And then I just need to see the last one, then we're going to stop stream for today. And then we'll move on, and I will just kind of chill in the background. I need a better Saiyan team, LMAO. I mean, that's fair. That is le fair. Oh, I can see. There's no yellow for you. You don't have the Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. And then, well, you don't really need him. All right. Let's take a look at this. What the frig is this? Is this a Saiyan team? All right, let's take a look. This is fine. I mean, if that's the best green you have, then okay. Bardock is pretty much not necessary, so he should get replaced. Or you could keep him in for the buffs, I guess. This guy just can, I guess he's good for the buffs, but that's about it. Let's see. You don't have any red units, so you can get walled pretty easily by any yellow unit that comes your way. And then you also don't have a yellow unit, so any purple units can be used against you. So people can run a purple-yellow team against you to never get punished. That's not good. And then the only Super Saiyan abuse that you can make is when you do double blue. So, and then this equip is garbage. Like, you're actually killing your team. You're actually killing your Vegeta. You probably will never use Vegeta, but this equip doesn't even apply. Doesn't even work fully. The third slot's wasted. Third slot is wasted. 100% wasted. The condition for it is EX and Saiyan. You don't have an EX or Saiyan. Like, you don't have an EX on the team at all. So you can't even use the third equipment slot. And then, let's see what else. Like, this is such a mid-equip at A. You should get that to S or Z. If you're not willing to, then it's going to be mid forever. And then, yeah. I know you don't run the Vegeta. Doesn't matter. Get rid of the equip. Get a better equip. Your damage, your ability bonus calc matters. Even if it's, like, just subtly. Your ability bonus in comparison to your opponent does apply in damage calc ratio. Along with what are these synergetic equips. Okay, I'm not on my PC anymore, so I'll send an SS on my Sun fam missing. Okay. All right, sounds good. Sounds good, Monkey D. Luffy. Either way, I'll then review it in person, like in the Discord, and less so on stream. Because I do gotta, like, head out now. But I will take a look at this, and I will actually talk about this afterwards. But either way, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for the stream today. Today's Friday, so tomorrow is going to be, I think, we're starting the raid tomorrow. I have to double check, though. I'm not sure. So, yeah, that's what it's like. So I'll be reviewing these two teams in writing. So, guys, I'm going to go now, but I'll review it here. So, anyways, take care, guys. Have yourselves a salty day, and I will see you in the next stream. We're going to have a stream most likely on Wednesday, but if it's on Monday, I'll let you know on the community post. So take a look out on the community post, and I will see it there. Monkey D. Luffy, I will just look at this in person, so I'll start typing here.